All right. Well, thanks for having me. I know you already invited me before, so I was just usually like on a Saturday is my long day stream. But seeing as I wasn't doing one today, I thought I can actually join. So let's do it.
Awesome. So pretty much like for tonight, mate, the main reason we wanted to get you on, because I still would like to do one with you and the rest of the Karma crew. Again, like we had planned down the line. But tonight, I felt we needed to talk about what happened earlier or last night on Twitter for you or whatever, but earlier today for me with the falling out over Tope's tweet about food on the dying of starvation and the rain being OP.
Yes.
So we didn't agree. We didn't agree, and we couldn't see each other's point of view on the matter. So for those who don't know,
no, we did, but it's the way you went about it is what I had an issue with. Not necessarily the point, because the point funny enough, we actually agreed on the point halfway through, and then in the end you said, well, let's just, I just disagree with what you're saying, even though you agreed with what I said earlier. But yeah, if you want, you can give context to the whole conversation, or you want me to do it?
You can do it, mate.
Okay, so Tope has been playing a little bit of vanilla recently, and he tweeted out that right now in DayZ, rain is a very big factor. Also, finding food is a very big factor to a lot of people not really having a great experience in the game. He ran from Cherno to Zelenogorsk with like 3 cans of food, a pear, and rice, and ended up dying still because of the rain. Rain obviously accelerating your hunger and thirst a lot faster because it makes you cold. And so he wanted to tweet that out and wanted to spark a discussion about rain. I fully agree. I've been saying this for a long, long time, that rain is completely unbalanced right now in DayZ, and has ever since they changed the weatherproof clothing system from just having a raincoat to doing a system where you require all your clothing items to be waterproof. And all former items like a raincoat or Gorka that used to be waterproof is not waterproof anymore. It's water resistant. So you'll still get wet even though you wear that clothing item will still get wet even though you wear them in the rain and are supposed to be water resistant. They'll still get wet after a minute. Yeah. So Tope's point was, what is the intention of this? And I chimed in saying it's just the rain being completely unbalanced, because the only real way of dealing with the rain is putting warm or cooked items in your inventory, and for the majority of the time that's just meat, right? And the fact that in order to just have a good experience rather than sitting inside a building all the time not getting wet, is the alternative is cook some stuff and put it in your pants or in your jacket. And that is one that's unrealistic. 2, it's just kind of stupid for a game that's supposed to be improving on their systems to still have that in the game. And then on top of that, not actually allowing server owners proper weather controls. Like, we actually have to mod weather in order for you to even be able to completely disable it or control how much rain you actually want to have. The minimal rain setting in DayZ still is rain every 15 minutes. In the most part, it's pretty random, but it's very regularly. And the fact that when you get wet, when it starts raining, you get wet within 30 seconds. 30 seconds later, boom, you're sick. 30 seconds later, boom, you're coughing, and your character is just, and then the coughing initially is like once every couple of minutes, but then it gets more and more and more and more. And then now your character is constantly coughing. So this whole rain experience in DayZ, in my opinion, and in Tope's opinion then as well, is just completely unbalanced. Like, it needs more variety, and it needs more waterproof clothing actually needs to exist, and there needs to be more variety in that. Or you need to give you need to balance the rain and how quickly you get sick and all that.
See, now, a lot of the points you raised there, I do agree with. The lack of variety of weather, suitable clothing to wear is another major factor. just how quickly it hits on you. Yeah, I agree that could be tweaked, but I still come back to, and this is where we fell apart. I still come back to that. Regardless of all that, this is about play styles as opposed to the mechanics being overly broken. The mechanics need tweaking. Fucking what doesn't need tweaking in DayZ? But this comes from, like, basically from having watched you guys a lot, and this is not having a go at your play style or anything like that. You know, I'll be talking about it tonight on the stream. You and Taupe are highly fucking successful streamers, and you guys play a certain style. You know, you're very quick to get back into the action, and I don't know how much you jog and all the rest of it. But for someone like me, when I looked at that tweet, I just went, I can't remember the last time I died from exposure, because there's so many things, and I've even got people saying it in my chat. There's so many things you can do to avoid that burning, and not just sitting in a house and hiding from the rain. But I still generally always go out in the rain, but that's because I play a slower play style. This is.
And you put cooked meats in your pants.
Not often. I kind of try to avoid doing that now. I did it for a little while, and then I got bored, and I went.
So how do you stay warm?
I don't, but I make sure I've got enough calories on me. I make sure I've got vitamins on me. So as soon as you see that sickness icon pop up, you pop a vitamin, or you pop a Tetra, or a codeine, or whatever, and it gets rid of the flu for you. And
that would be based off of that you actually have those supplies, and then, I mean, but especially if you're a fresh spawn, especially in vanilla, it can be quite difficult to acquire that amount of food to make a journey like that. And
it can be a bit RNG. I agree on that.
And but the point wasn't necessarily that we have a different opinion on this, right? That wasn't the point of why I was pissed off at you yesterday. The reason why I was pissed off at you yesterday is because rather than say what you're saying right now, the first thing you mentioned was you guys are run and gun play style, and you said, and some people actually value PvE aspects of the game. That's what you said. And by that, you mean is that we don't value that. But if we don't value that, then we obviously don't mention it. We actually care a lot about the game. And I do agree, there is definitely room for some servers to be more punishing with this thing. More rain, less food, have that experience that you're used to. But right now, the vanilla experience, and that was the point that Taupe was making, the vanilla experience is not balanced. You have to have a set in the middle. And right now, it is leaning far too much to one point. And what you said, the way you said it, means you were discrediting our opinions on it because our playstyle doesn't match what that situation is. While we're not trying to get away from any PvE aspects of the game, and we value that as well, but by saying it the way you said it, you basically mean, but you guys don't play vanilla, so like, why even talk about it? Like, you really said it in a way that you're kind of like discrediting our opinions on it because the play style doesn't match what's going on there. And that's not the intent of what Taupe was trying to say. That's not the intent of what I was trying to say. And this is something that I tried to explain to both of you guys yesterday, like 4 times. Like, it doesn't look, you can disagree with it, and that's fine. But the first thing you do, the first reaction you have is discrediting our opinion because our playstyle is not the same as yours. And that's something I had an issue with, especially because at this point, you should probably know that we care a lot about the game. You want to see the game do better. This is where the point of the 17,000 hours comes in. We don't just say shit because it's emotional. We have invested interest in it, and we have a good understanding of what the game is about. So, and especially because we have stuck with it through very hard times, and every time when something was very hard, we spoke up as well. This kind of like way of just constantly mentioning things that you think are wrong in the game will help give a direction for developers, because we're the ultimate play testers, right? Like, you can have a whole QA department, but I can guarantee you that someone like Taupe or I have a better understanding of anyone in that QA department of how the game balance fits in, how the game, what they're doing with the game actually translates into the game. And that's why when you say your play style does not match that thing, it's a little bit disrespectful, because we don't deserve that shit. Like I think anyone should be able to share their opinions. Not like, and then you're trying to put it in my shoes that I'm saying if you don't have that many hours, you don't have any right to give an opinion. Which was,
you did state that, though.
No, I did not. I said we have so many hours, right? So if you tell us you can't have an opinion, that's the disrespectful part. You're saying you weren't being disrespectful, but dude, like, you're talking to people who literally play this game for a living, care a lot about the game, clearly, and you're telling those people is that their opinion is not as valid because the play style is different. That's pretty disrespectful, and you know, especially because you know, I hold you guys in respect as well. Like, that shouldn't be your first reaction to something that was said.
That is not what I said at all, though. And if you took it that way, I apologise, but that is not how it was meant.
Well, Tope saw that as well. That's the way
I know that, but it is not how it was meant. And so many people have reached out to me and said they understood where I was coming from and couldn't understand why you guys took it the way you did. My thing was
trying to confirm your own opinions a little bit there, dude. Like
as you two are with each other.
Other people said this and other people said this on a one-of-one thing. Like, that's clearly how it came across, right? That's how it came across to us, and that's why it was disrespectful to us. And because you have other people telling you, it's like, no, I get where you're coming from, Boydie. That doesn't mean that you didn't disrespect us by what you said. And then you called me a fucking snowflake, which, oh man, like that really put me over the next level, man. Calling me a snowflake is like, dude, I take so much shit on my Twitch stream all the time. You know, I don't get offended with shit, but you know, saying something disrespectful like that kind of got us the wrong way, because there's definitely a culture going on within the community where if you play vanilla, people sometimes act like they're the superior player. Like, I don't know, we play vanilla, we're not playing on the modded server. And so there's a little bit of this, and this is where the elitism thing comes on. Not specifically mentioned towards you, but more towards the attitude that you had.
The thing is, though, I hardly play vanilla. I play servers that are harder than vanilla, as a general rule. That's what I personally prefer. I don't find vanilla that hard. But going back to the original point, that part of the reason why I spoke up as well is, and I said this to some people, that one of the things that concerns me is I like the direction that the DayZ vanilla is going, and that, you know, the way that I think Sumrak, from what he says, and you know, just the way he is, the stuff he's kind of talked about with Namolsk, and Namolsk isn't ready enough for the vanilla experience, and he wants to work on some things. I totally understand that. Look at my viewers. I've got a handful of people watching me when I stream my hardcore style. Look at the likes of yourselves, Lax, Tope, Running Man, and all that, who play the more PvP-oriented gameplay. Not always. Now, Tope in particular has got some fucking hilarious interaction videos. He truly does the full gamut. Yourself as well, Running Man as well. But I still feel, you know, even if you go back to what Dean Hall was quoted as saying about, when you find a can of beans, you will be ecstatic. And that is the way I feel that the vanilla DayZ experience should be. There is so many modded servers, even the console people can play with the spawn rates and all the rest of it now, to make DayZ more like what the mod was. But the original vision of DayZ was for a more hardcore survival experience. And right or wrong, that's you can say that that's the most stupid thing ever. They're going to lose players and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, it's Bohemia's game. That's a decision for them. Me personally, I like the way that they're going with vanilla, making it a more challenging experience. It isn't just about running and finding the first gun, and you know, or running around and killing freshies in Electro and some of the silliness. And you know, it's fun. I watch it. The likes of Lax and Uncle Ray Ray and that, they're hilarious. But I feel that DayZ is at its core meant to be a more hardcore survival-based experience that has you, you know, on the edge of your seat all the time and punishes you when you make silly mistakes. Which I know that sounds a bit arrogant, but Tope, from what I can tell, made a few silly mistakes and got punished for it. And then came on to tweet about the system being broken. I don't think it is. I think it needs polishing. I think it needs refining, yes. But I love what they've done.
And to be fair, I actually agree with you on that. In that, I think so. Every single server can already make DayZ a lot more casual, right? And definitely the game is leaning right now. The player base is leaning far too casual, in my opinion, to what DayZ is as a survival game. And so I like things having more hardcore, and I like that the elements or PvE aspects can actually be quite punishing. However, the point that I think, and I agree, Taupe sometimes has a way of just like running a little bit too much and not keeping that PvE aspect too much in mind. But he does make a good point, is that the range, especially, which comes back to what we were talking about, it's just not very well fleshed out. Like, you can't have a hardcore survival game and have no balance in rain whatsoever. Rain is punishing, but there's no balance. There needs to be proper ways of defending yourself from the rain. Either maybe something improvised, like you find a trash bag, you put it on, or something like, in general, just more waterproof clothing. Shit, have an umbrella. I don't know. Like, or there's like better ways of staying warm. The fact that you cough literally 30 seconds after you're cold is completely messed up as well. And I think that was the core focus of the tweet. Like, the food is one thing, but the core focus of the tweet was the lack of balance within the rain. And so I fully agree with you on this, but it needs to be balanced. It needs to be balanced. It needs to have a way where there's options. There's more to the rain. There's more to avoid the rain, just like you would at IRL. It's not just sitting inside or putting cooked meat in my pants. It is, or running around with vitamins all the time because you keep fucking coughing. They really seriously need to, one, look into rain controls for servers, having more tight controls to it. Two, having waterproof clothing be more accessible and available, giving more options. And three, also finding out other, perhaps more improvised ways of trying to battle the rain. And I think that's what Taupe was trying to say, and that's something I fully agree with. I'm not for the super casual approach. It's like, rain should be a small thing in the game. I'm fully not that guy. That's just why, especially also because you immediately went to that direction, you guys are more running and gunning. Well, Taupe is a lot more to that side than I actually am. So it's a bit kind of putting us in a box, like you kind of did with other streamers just now, putting us all in boxes. Whereas I feel like even any one of those guys should be allowed to voice their opinions just as much, because even though their playstyles might not fit dealing with rain as much, it does not mean is that they don't have a vested interest into what the vanilla game should be about, and everyone should be allowed to. And
I don't doubt you guys in that respect. As you said, you guys have been loyal to this game pretty much since it first came out, and no one can say that you haven't. But there was no disrespect meant in that aspect. And I know, like, it's a bit of a pigeonhole to say the run and gun, but that's what, when you do boil it down into a nutshell, that's predominantly what you guys do a lot of when you're streaming. Maybe not so
we
much.
We don't do a lot of hunting. I'll give you that. We don't do a lot of hunting, but it doesn't mean we're just running gunning.
But see, that's a massive thing. Two little things there. Vitamins, you take them before. If you get cut by a zombie, or if you get cold and you're wet, you pop a vitamin. It stops you getting sick. And the other one is, as I said, pretty much every time I see an animal now, I try to kill the fucker so I can get the fat, and then cook that fat. And then if you ingest 3 or 4 pieces of fat, man, you don't have to worry about food for hours in game. It just lasts forever. Just simple little things that then enable you to just run at your leisure, that I've learnt from playing the more hardcore survival. So I'm looking at it from my pigeonholed, PvE elitist mentality. But that's just stuff I've learnt, and that was all I was trying to get across. Was I don't agree it's broken. There were simple things you can do to prevent it. And the other factor as well that I think plays into it is with you guys being so successful, you as I said before, I have a handful of people watching me because watching someone jog the entire map and stopping to fish, kill a chicken, make bone hooks out of the bones from the fish, then go from the chicken, then go and fish, and then get the wood, go into a house, light a fire, and half an hour later, and I still haven't left the spawn town because I'm still searching for every single little thing I can before I leave. But that's the way I play. Whereas you guys don't do that. I don't think you'd spend half an hour looting one of the spawn towns just to make sure you've got enough gear before you progress to the next town and then repeat the cycle. It's a boring fucking playstyle to watch as a viewer, but that's the way
and for a lot of people to play as well. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, I get that. And that comes back to the point of that. Should DayZ just say, fuck it, we're not going to be the hardcore game that Dean envisioned and just become the more casual game that the majority, and I'm not saying that you want that, but you look at the servers out there, Trump's Wall, 1SK, all these easy loot servers, they're what people want to play, the majority of on DayZ. And I understand why, because not everyone is like you or me who has hours each week to be able to play DayZ. There are some guys who work a 9 to 5 job, come home. I've got Ben from BWOF in my his service. He has the rain off. But there are people who just want to come knock off work, spend a bit of time with the wife and kids, and then jump on DayZ for an hour. And then to sit there and play my playstyle, I know that's not for them. But then you've got the modded servers that allow for them. So I still feel the vanilla experience is correct the way it is. Look at that handsome devil who just joined the stream. Inclement Dab.
Hello.
Yo, what up?
Good morning, everyone. I'm just here to play rock, paper, scissors with Brimstone. You guys keep going. Don't mind me.
So I think that I just think that vanilla.
Sorry, mate, we lost you. Oh no, I've frozen.
Okay, should we wait or should I talk?
Now we're good.
Go for it. He's back.
Okay. So I think that DayZ right now is too far one way. There needs to be a more balance to the reign. I agree that it needs to be hardcore, but right now it has gone too far because the reason why, think about it for a second, the reason why so many people play the more casual part of DayZ is perhaps vanilla is just not balanced enough to attract a bigger audience. That doesn't mean is that you should cater to the biggest audience, but it does mean is that there's definitely some aspects in the vanilla part that could be improved upon. You can take that as a hint. It's like, why is everyone else playing? Even on servers that are not necessarily over modded, but even on modded servers, because a lot of the time, a lot of part of DayZ just isn't balanced. And I think everyone should speak up about it and talk about it and be public about it, because that will give directions towards the devs. The devs keep an eye on Twitter, like they keep an eye on all that stuff. They follow a bunch of people in the DayZ community, and the people that have all this experience playing the game, having it in a discussion between them is actually very valuable for them. So I've seen it before, where if you have a different opinion, people would rather have you not give that opinion because they disagree with it. And people sometimes say like, oh, I get this quite a bit as well. It's like, oh man, you talk too much, you complain too much about the game. But I'm just thinking, well, if no one talks about it, then nothing is going to fucking happen. Like, you should be vocal about these things when they are worrying, or when they're worrying, just anything generally in the game you disagree with, because it sends messages to the community, it sends messages to the devs. It's like, hey, this is how I think your game can be improved.
And that is where we would never agree, because I don't think that that topic is something that really needs to be made less casual. I agree there needs to be some tweaking, maybe some different articles of clothing and all the rest of it. But I had someone point out there before that, you were mentioning before about how you could find a raincoat and you were safe. Basically what they've done is they've made it a bit more challenging, which for myself is something I really enjoy. Being that it's not as easy, like I said in the chain of tweets, that one of the easiest ways is, if I find a server and it's raining like crazy, I run to the first fire station and I wear the fireman's clothing, because I know that's probably, I understand the point that then you'll end up with a server full of people running around wearing the same outfit, and that's why I say there do need to be some more alternatives. You could find rain pants and wellies and all the rest of it, but I like the fact that it's not just a one clothing item makes you immune to rain now.
No, but that's not what I'm saying either. This is what we coming back to last night. We actually agree on this. We have the same opinion on this. Like, I don't necessarily think is that there should be one clothing item that should give you immune to rain. Like, I don't necessarily mind it if there's this full-on rain system, but there needs to be more options. And that's why I said, it's like, like you just said right now, what I said, you and I agree on this fully. It's just that, I don't know, maybe the message came across wrong. Or
it's Twitter. Everything comes across wrong on Twitter.
No, but even right now, right? Like, even right now, it's like, oh no, I don't agree. And then you say, it's like, what I'm looking for is something that you have like one raincoat and make it easier, more casual. That's not what I said at all. I just said it needs to be balanced. It needs to be a balance to the whole thing, and that's why you need to be vocal about it. We agree on this, Boydie, and that's why it was a little bit frustrating for me to read last night that it got into that, because you already said, oh, we agree on this. So, yeah.
Well, I'm kind of confused now.
Yeah, that's what I was last night. Anyway, perhaps it's a good idea, because if someone else can give their opinion about this.
I'll jump in with a quick one. I know people in chat are expecting me to be a cunt. I'm gonna keep it under wraps because I'm in a slightly better mood than I was when we started.
Cunt away, my friend.
No, I think on the topic of obviously of Twitter and things, I think we had the similar, if not the same, issue with the whole Milo the Average Sniper controversy a few months back, where obviously everyone was piling on Twitter in one way or another, and there was no one side or one person that was right and one that was right. It was all a complete fucking clusterfuck. And I think I mentioned it on the podcast at that time as well, that I think part of the issue that we have is that...
Oh, my internet.
The full meaning necessarily. All you see is words written down.
There's no nuance. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. There's no nuance. There's no context necessarily. Someone types something, you see words on a screen, and then it's left to you as the recipient of that to read that and gather your own context and make your own decisions about what's written. And I think that's an issue that we all have, in the sense that that's how I think things snowball, because you see something, and we all do it. When I say you, I don't mean one specific person. I mean you as in the collective you. We all see that, and we make our own minds up. Our brain goes, right, this is the words that are written. This is how I take that. Therefore, this is my response to that based on how I took that message. But that message is the way we take that message isn't necessarily the way the sender of that message meant it to be taken. So I think it can be a bit of a ball ache in a sense that we all type things out and we see things on Twitter, but there's no context behind it. I think in an ideal world, I think if there comes a situation where a couple of us have some sort of disagreement, or someone voices an opinion on Twitter and someone else has a different idea of it, I think it is worth sort of having a vocal conversation like we are today to get those points across, instead of doing what we all have done. And I'm certainly not innocent of this. During the Milo thing, I had a conversation, if you want to call it that, with Running Mans on Twitter myself, and I think having that one-to-one conversation, having that actual, like we are now, being able to actually speak to each other and see people's facial features and and see how people are reacting to things you say, makes it a lot easier to get a point across and saves all of the quote-unquote drama and what have you on Twitter. And I think people, and we all do it, we're all too very quick to jump in and just type away, not giving a flying fuck about the repercussions of the words we say and how they're going to be taken by other people.
I agree. That could be that's definitely something I think anyone should do, is before they just tweet something, think about how can that be perceived. What's the nuance behind this tweet? Be very specific and deliberate with what you mean, because if it can be perceived another way, then it can.
Probably easy for me just to cancel Twitter.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm really sorry. My Discord keeps on lagging.
My life would have gone a lot easier if there'd have been a font for sarcasm.
Yes.
Well, we have the caps, lower caps, lower caps, lap caps, lower caps thing, right?
Yeah, and then to be fair, Twitter does now have GIFs or GIFs, however you prefer to pronounce it. GIF. And there is a kappa one. So I do tend to try and use that as much as possible, but I get the strange feeling I'll probably piss a few people off with constant GIFs rather than actually typing things out. But I guess that's just part of the fun of being on Twitter nowadays.
My chat's full of kappas right now. God damn it.
Ben.
Hello.
What have you got to say?
What regarding
wakey?
Regarding this situation, I'll be honest. I agree with Mr. Minder on the rain. That's why I don't have it on my server. Everybody complains about it. Vanilla rain is not good. It does way too much, way too quick.
Of something to your tastes, I suppose.
Except
Just
if
the
you're
nice
playing
thing
on
about
console, that is, and then you're fucked.
Well, they're a different category, but in general,
peeps, aren't we? Yeah.
Well, you can adjust like weather settings on console, right? At the very least, because that's a server setting.
Extremely minimal. It will still rain, and the minimum rain setting is either turned off or still a shit ton of rain.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's right.
We can have that out with the devs then, but in general, like especially in a game like with modding, especially modding is like one of the greatest ways that people can express what they want to see in a game or whatever. The expansion guys, they really wanted to see more. They wanted to see all these crazy, awesome features in a game that has modding support, and that's exactly what they did. And if you don't want it, then don't use expansion. So, that's just
I want the vehicles.
True.
I want the vehicles. I don't want all the other stuff. I don't want all the other bugs. Just give me vehicles, man.
Just no bugs, just vehicles.
Yeah, just I literally don't want anything else. Just give me the bus, the boat, and the helicopters, and I'm perfectly happy. Just put them in a separate pack alongside expansion. Everyone is gonna fucking do a little dance, rain dance, and kumbaya.
Kumbaya.
I love the rain.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents on it, though.
I love the rain. I'm sorry. I know I'm in the minority here, but I love it the way it is. I love the challenge it presents. And, it's find a server that's, more, has less rain on it. But I love the fact that they're taking vanilla in a more hardcore direction. But I understand that that's a minority point of view, and,
Mate, I love the rain personally. Like, people have the misconception that the way my server's set up is the way I like to play DayZ. That's not how it works, because if I set my server up the way I like to play DayZ, I'm probably not going to have anybody on it. I personally like having the rain in. I would have it on my server if it worked a lot better than worked. Sorry, that's the wrong word. If it was toned down a lot more, the effect it has, like M1ndr was saying, it takes no time at all, and you're coughing from being wet in it. So I'd like to see it adjusted.
But you can combat that just with simply having vitamins.
Yeah, I'm hearing both sides of the argument, and I'm not saying anybody's wrong. But yeah, me personally, I agree that it does need turning down a wee bit.
For the record, on our servers we run rain, but we have made a custom mod, a server-side mod for ourselves that allows us full control of the rain. We were actually planning on making something like this public, but for doing something like that, just having controls for the rain, we wanted to extend on it a lot more before you can actually release it as a mod. So it's not just, oh, hey, here's a small fix as a mod, go use it yourself. It needs to be a full-on mod with proper rain, storm controls, lightning, fog, so that you can all this set with variables and chances of it happening, etc. So I agree in that fully. I don't disagree with rain whatsoever. We have it on our servers. It's just that when it's raining, let's balance the shit around the rain. That's all.
And Dude I Rage has just said in my chat as well that most people are casual players and they don't have the knowledge to keep up with heavy weather. And I do understand that, and that's something that it's kind of sad because it's such a simple fix that people can do. But like I said again, the casual players, they don't have hours upon hours to spend playing the game. They just want to be able to get in and have fun. So yeah.
I think I said it last week as well on the podcast. Who the fuck is casually playing DayZ anymore? You can't just jump in and have a 5-minute run around unless you're going on one of the one's V++ deathmatch servers. I think they're the only kind of servers you can really jump on, have 5 minutes, run around, shoot, have a laugh. Because DayZ is because it's a survival game. It's one of those where you kind of have to sit there. I think we've all done it now where, we've jumped on and thought, we've just got home from work, fancy having a quick run around, see what's around in Electro. Next thing you know, it's fucking 4 o'clock in the morning. You're back up for work in 2 hours, and you've lost your entire fucking night.
Yeah.
I'm still doing it now. I don't have anywhere near the amount of hours in game as a lot of you guys do, but Jesus Christ, I still do it now. Maybe I just need to get out more, but maybe that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah, it really sucks you in sometimes.
Oh yeah. Misses and kids though kind of helps balance the amount of time that I play DayZ.
Well, that's your fault.
Lay down the law.
For being a sexual tyrannosaur, mate. They can't keep their... Well, I said they. Oh my God, that sounded so bad.
Yeah, you might want to rephrase that one, mate.
Yeah. This VOD's getting wiped at the end of the stream.
Oh yeah, I was going to say that's going to go well.
I know who's just clipped that. DeWan, he's been waiting for juicy sound bites. Yeah, FBI. Okay, so what did we resolve? We all agree that not everyone agrees, but M1ndr and I agreed that the hardcore approach is good, but yeah.
I think we're all cunts. Let's be cunts together and work towards a more positive cunty future.
I think we both agree is that
Tope needs to harden up on his survival skills.
We both agree that DayZ needs to remain a hardcore game, and we both agree is that there should be more done to battle rain or have options with battling rain in the game, and that's really the end of what we were talking about.
And that Tope needs to harden up on his survival skills. You agree to that, don't you, M1ndr?
Tope's just bad at the game altogether. Everyone says he's so good, but if you tone down the food, he'll just die all the time. So come at me, Tope.
Now you're gonna unblock me on Twitter, you wanker?
I already did.
Good.
Okay.
Now kiss and make up, for Christ's sake.
I was going to say, now kiss.
No, that'd make it weird.
Yeah. Especially after what
them.
I just said. Okay, I think we are done on that topic. Mindy, you're welcome to hang around if you want, or head back to your stream and continue doing your thing. Now we are, to make MC Geary and my chat happy, going to focus on the guest of the night, Inclement Dab. He's here to talk about his DayZ map editing mod that he's making. Minder?
No, I'm actually very interested in this. So I'm sticking around.
Awesome.
Cool.
Inclement Dab.
I guess I can.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much for coming on, mate. I know
Thank you for
we're
having me.
half an hour late pretty much, but I felt we needed to talk about the issue that happened earlier. You're bringing
No
up
worries, no worries.
special...
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm ready. I came prepared.
You did. You said you
I've
were
got,
going to. So
I've got,
before
I've
you
got some
start,
good
I want to let people know you do stream on Twitch, and
do.
your Twitch name is Inclement Dab, the same as his name in. He's there typing away in chat. So please give the guy a follow if you are interested in what he is doing. Now, one of the things that amazes me about the DayZ community, mate, is just there is so many people out there doing shit that I didn't even know was possible. Like I not meaning to be rude or nothing, but I hadn't heard of you a week and a half ago. And then people started saying, you need to check this guy out. You need to check this guy out. And I was like, what's he doing? What's he doing? And then I watched your stream or the clip that they put in my in the show. And it was just, what the hell is this? This is something even an idiot boomer like me could probably manage. Take it away, mate.
I haven't been very vocal about it. The project's been active for about a month so far. I actually got I got some footage. I went back in time because me and DeJuan was like one of the first people that actually came up to me, and like him and I were the ones that like really kind of started the project, because he came into me and he was like, hey, I just figured out how to like load a map in the bulldozer. Like I figured out how to load Chernarus in the bulldozer, because normally you can't, because it's like, they got to totally binarize.
What's the bulldozer? What's the bulldozer first? You're talking
the bulldozer is the actual terrain editor for DayZ. Yep. It's Arma 2, Arma 3. It's been around for a while. So DeJuan came to me and he was like, "Yo, check this out. I just bugged the bulldozer and figured out how to load a already loaded map." And I'm like, "That's really cool," because I had an idea a while ago where you could use the bulldozer to create an editor. And we kind of melded ideas together. I actually got I'll go into my my little pictures here.
Ooh, so like, hang about, go back. What's in the secret stash?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, okay?
FBI, open up.
FBI, open. I'm gonna knock on my door in a second. No, but so like day one, like the absolute first thing that we ever did was we loaded the bulldozer, because the project started in the bulldozer. It wasn't originally a DayZ mod. It was actually a mod for the bulldozer. So this is like the first thing that we figured out how to do, was to like load in the bulldozer. The sky is green, stuff is weird. Bulldozer did not like it because we were essentially glitching it. So this is like how it started. It's probably about a month and a half ago at this point. So then day two rolls along, and I started to sort of script for the bulldozer, and I started to sort of mess with the different stuff that you could do. So this is like what you're seeing here. This is literally like the very first UI design that we had. Like I was able to create buildings in the most basic way possible. We had like a list of like all the buildings you could place. You would basically just drag the object there, as you could see, and then just drop it in the world. You couldn't move positions or anything like that. It wasn't like, it wasn't this very fleshed out idea. This was all proof of concept. All right. We're still beating rocks together, and we're still trying to figure out how this stuff works. I know, bear in mind, this is also like the first time that I had done any really like real scripting in DayZ. So from there, I forget which one this is. From there we have, this would be like the first time that we loaded into the actual, this is when we transitioned to being a mod. So now we're out of the bulldozer. We're no longer, this may have been like a week after we had started the project, but we're no longer actually a mod for the bulldozer. We're now actually a mod for DayZ, because I began to realize that like bulldozer sucks. To put it bluntly, it's not built for what we were doing to it. We were pretty much abusing it to do that. So now we're actually in the DayZ mod, which is much more built for the actual, using the editor. So now we've gotten, at this point I've updated the UI a little bit. I've been able to sort of like place objects in the world like a little bit more nicely. You can see the UI is still totally bugged, but it's a thing. It's something. And as you can see, also kind of from like the ground level, I've gone for very much like the approach of very usable. I try to make it so you can, drag items around very easily. If you want to just jump into a project that you're already working on, hey, and you want to move this house like 3 feet to the right because it looks better. Cool. All you got to do is just load in. You got to move an item around. It's easy to move stuff around. It's easy to edit stuff you've already done and just kind of go for it. It's very, very much like the Eden editor in Arma 3, if you've used that in the past. And then I got one more thing here. Oh yeah. And then this was just kind of a meme that we did. So when you're in the editor itself and you're flying around in the world, right? What are you flying around as? You're basically a floating camera. So that's what, instead of having a character that stands here in the main menu, we put a floating camera.
Okay.
And it also, it may also follow your mouse cursor around as you move it on the screen.
Gotcha.
So that's like the early footage. I'll actually load it up right now and do we'll do like a full demo, and then as I'm going, feel free to ask as many questions as you want. And
Dance
stop me.
Jesus is just saying in chat, "Oh, I get it now."
I actually have a question.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
actually have a question. So obviously you have you go off the basis of Chernarus. Does the editor add to current Chernarus Plus, or allow you to completely get rid of all the objects on Chernarus and then basically rebuild on top of the layout of Chernarus?
So right now it allows you to add on existing Chernarus Plus. You can't remove the objects that already exist in the map. I know that it's possible to like move the objects around, but you can't actually properly delete them. So if I were to make it so you could delete the items in Chernarus Plus, it'd probably just like stick them below the map, which feels kind of cheaty a little bit. But in general, it's really just built for building on top of what already exists. If that answers your question.
Okay. Yeah, because apparently there is a way of getting rid of stuff. So.
Yeah, the way that's like getting rid of stuff is literally just taking the item. Like, say you wanted to move. You guys can see my screen, okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say you wanted to move the bulldozer that's in the background right now, or the big digger. So you can't actually delete that in the traditional sense, but what you can do is you can just move it below the ground, which deletes it technically. But it still is like, it's kind of an inefficient way to do it. I'd like to talk to BI about the possibilities of being able to delete the objects in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's likely going to be possible, yeah.
So if you compare this to, let's say, current map editors in the game, it's just a more efficient one and a standalone mod one than what's available now in VPP and community online tools.
Yeah, definitely. I think COT is much more of a server mod as well. This is much more of an offline editor that you can export and create missions with, basically.
Oh, okay, it's offline. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Now, I'm not sure about server functionality yet. If it does, it'll be much like if you've played Zeus in Arma 3. It'll be a little bit like that.
Okay.
So this is our main menu right now, though.
Lightning bolts. That was a Zeus thing. That
might already be a thing.
Oh, okay.
There's like a lot of like little hidden like Easter eggs inside. We just kind of like love playing around. I'll sit with the expansion devs sometimes and we'll just like add stuff, just like hidden stuff and not mention it. So we can have like an interstellar mode if we wanted to. Just stuff like that. But
someone in chat is saying bomb brush.
Yeah, that is a thing as well. But as you load into the main menu, so the idea is it's just like super user friendly. You load the mod, you load whatever extra mods you want to have, and you load whatever maps you want to have too. Like I was actually editing on Essiker for a while because it loads really fast, and it'll show up in this list here. So Essiker would show up, whatever other maps you wanted to load as well. We've tested them all. Takistan even loads, but for now, just I can just load up Chernarus Plus and sort of show you guys.
How much strain does adding all this extra stuff put onto a server for any not so technically minded server owners out there?
Not that much. DayZ actually does a pretty good job already. If you've played expansion. Oh, I don't know the amount of items. Maybe DOJ could tell us in chat, but there's a lot of items that expansion adds in a very similar way that the editor adds it. So like you've seen like all the extra grass that he adds and like all the overgrown areas that he'll add to like certain towns and just make them look absolutely magnificent. It's a lot like that. So you
But
can
that
add...
kills FPS though, right?
Not
On expansion?
necessarily.
I mean, I was in Cherno and I got on my 2080 Ti, I got like 35 FPS last time I was running around.
That's what
like,
I've been
northern
hearing
parts
as
of Cherno.
well. People saying that the expansion mod does impact on their FPS. So that's why I asked the question, because I'm wondering how much of an impact. Have you done any testing of it just to see if there is any?
Well,
drops?
yeah, we definitely have on a very rudimentary server. I can tell you for a fact, like think of it like this, okay? So the game, like, look, you're just looking at this town right here. This is Novi, okay? So you see how many buildings are inside of this town. There's probably, I say, 2,000 objects just in the screen right now. So you could probably double that and your frames wouldn't change. You could probably triple that and your frames on a server would be fine. DOJ said he put like 40,000 items on the map. I don't know exactly the frame rate changes when it comes to just expansion or if it's other mods or the server you're playing on or whatever. I'm not sure. But to answer your question in general, the frame rate impact is minimal because the game is going to load the objects very much like it's going to load this church right here or this house right here. It's going to load the objects from the editor the exact same way. It's going to be very similar to that.
Is it fair to say is that perhaps it's a good idea to keep in mind not to put too much shit like in a small area? Like,
oh yeah, I think that kind of goes for any mission editing too.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what's the issue with expansion. I don't know how much of that has been fixed now, but there's definitely some super overgrown areas, which looks absolutely amazing. Don't get me wrong, but the FPS just tanks massively there, and like that.
Understandably,
people need to keep that. Yeah, I know, 100%. It makes sense, but people need to keep that in mind.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, what the fuck? Your mom's bullshit.
Just because you
FPS,
can doesn't
man.
mean you should. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Be mindful of what you're doing to your servers, and if you're
But you
destroying
set the
FPS.
Boydie. No. That's not how
I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
But
I think
Go
this
ahead.
is something that I said about as well when talking about what Minder was just saying with expansion as well, is that back before expansion was actually fully released, I was somewhat skeptical of the mod in general. I've since been proven wrong since they've released it, because I think we can all agree it's fucking brilliant. But that doesn't negate the fact of, like you say, when you get built up areas like Kamishovo, as phenomenal as it looks, you do get a serious FPS drop. But bearing in mind, I'm not an intelligent person to the level of some of you guys with what you've been doing. It kind of, the point I made back in the day where before expansion was released is that at the end of the day, it's still a mod for a broken game to a degree. And obviously we can agree to disagree, between us on our thoughts on DayZ, but I think the problem we've got is that there's always going to be issues. I don't know whether it is something that the expansion guys can fix to a degree with, to fix the fact that the FPS can be an absolute ball ache in big built up areas like Kamishovo, where they've custom mapped it so beautifully. And at the end of the day, like I say, it is being built on top of a game that's historically not been that fantastically optimized at times. So
right.
If you take a look
it also may have something to do with the fact with how the base game actually manages user spawned objects. If it treats them any differently, then that will also cause issues with frame rate. It could be loading it when you're 10,000 meters away from it and you don't even know it. So, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, it is something that we would like to work with BI to help and give feedback on, and hopefully they can take that and progress with it in the future.
Yeah.
Answer Jesus has responded in the chat there regarding expansion and improvements to do with the mapping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, technically they are. I trust that they are definitely optimized when it comes to as optimized as the game will allow us to be. And if the game allows us to optimize further, then we'll be there,
Yeah.
Because we're going to do our best. We're not going to just put out a mod that makes it so your server frame rate tanks even though it looks cool. We don't want that, for sure. But if you guys want, I could start playing around with it and you guys can see what's going on here. But
Can you show the code one more time? Just scroll through it very slowly.
sure. Let me just.
In each independent
Oh
file.
no! Oh no! Oh, I've tabs. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead then.
So, first things first, you can tell the UI is a lot different than it was before. This is much more fleshed out. Actually, Steve has been helping me on this, and he's been doing a fantastic job. I think it looks great. So, when you first load into the editor, and you kind of see there's a little bit going on right now. It's not. I hope it's not too overwhelming. I have been looking at it for about a month now, so I kind of know what's going on. But in general, the idea behind the design philosophy is on the left you have objects you can place, and on the right you'll have objects that you have placed. So let me just I gotta spawn a character in real fast and go out. So for instance, these are I have builder items loaded too, so you can kind of load basically every item in the game at this point. So let's just say, all right, I want to place a land airfield service hangar down. Cool. So I'm going to click on it, and now it's following my cursor around. It's, like I said, I'm trying to make it intuitive, as intuitive as possible to work with, so, pretty much anybody can pick it up. And then the only thing you would have to do at this point is just click.
Wait. Can you basically make roller coaster so we can have roller coaster tycoon in DayZ?
If somebody makes a roller coaster mod, absolutely.
And then the zombies
Absolutely.
are the people. Oh yes.
God.
The zombies are the roller coaster operators.
Yeah, and then they vomit and stuff. Yeah, perfect.
That would be awesome. That'd be really cool if somebody did that.
With that image there, you could actually rotate that building to fit onto the land better than the way it is at the moment, where it's clipping through.
Oh, absolutely. So one of the big things is you've got your little icon right here, so you can drag it around. Like I said before, I want to make it so you can just jump right in. You can just drag your object around, and it's really easy to do. So I'm dragging the object around the world right now. What I can do is I can hold left Alt on my keyboard, and now it's only translating up and down.
So these are bulldozer controls, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, this is completely our control system.
Okay.
So left Alt moves the object up and down. I release left Alt and it lets me move it around normally. I can hold left Shift and it lets me rotate the object around like this. There's also a little widget that you can use to move the object around in the world. I think some of the buildings are a little bit weird with it sometimes. Like this one here is better. So this one you can actually move the object as you'd expect. As you'd expect. Okay. Just kidding. There you go. I put Banana on getting this to fix, or getting that to work, and he's doing a great job. Okay, so that's kind of like basic object motion. Now, if you really want to go into it and really make some cool looking areas, there's a couple of extra tools that allow you to do that. So up here at the top left corner, there's a couple of buttons that you can press. So we've got magnet mode, you have ground mode, and you have snap mode. Magnet mode makes it so... Hold up a sec. Magnet mode makes it so when you actually move an object around, pay really close attention to how the object is oriented right now in the world. It actually snaps it to whatever ground surface is below it.
That's what I was meaning, yeah. So,
yeah,
rotating on its axis, basically.
Exactly. And now all object rotation is based off of that ground normal. So you can even move it up in the air, and it's going to move it normal to that surface.
That's nice. I like that.
That's fucking
and it'll go for any surface. You can put it on a 90-degree angle on a mountain, and it'll still work pretty well. So that's like a sort of like an angled object like that. And then there's the other mode, which is ground mode. So I'll actually run both of them at the same time here. So ground mode gets turned on, and you notice that icon got moved from where it was before. So before it's normally here, but now the icon gets put on the ground. So now, if I were to have ground mode off and I just move the object around, it's going to stick it back to the ground. But if I were to turn grounding mode on and then move the object into the air, oh shoot, I forgot I may have broken it. Hold up.
It's not a bug.
Shoot,
it's a
I forgot
feature.
I had a button to fix this. I told you it's a development build right now, so it's very buggy. I had a button to fix this, and I forgot which one it was.
It's very featurey. We don't say the B word here.
Shh. Features. They're features. Features. I thought I disabled that before I started today. I gotta give it a quick restart. But obviously, there's a very good reason why this isn't publicly available. It's in a very early stage. Like I said, we've only been on it for about a month right now. When 1.0 were to come out, it's going to be workshop available. It's going to be open source, everything like that. I'm not going to hide anything from anybody. You know, if anybody wants to use this and learn from it and do whatever, you know, by all means. But when 1.0 comes out, it'll definitely be enough.
Kudos to you for doing that.
I'm a big fan of modders pushing a mod when it's as polished as they can make it up until that time. Rather than pushing it because it sort of works. Yeah, exactly. I got a lot of testers that come back to me all the time and say, well, the search bar doesn't work. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's why it's not public. So, all right. Magnet mode and ground mode. And I just got to make sure I don't right click on that. So essentially, grounding mode puts that cursor down there. And now I can actually move the object normal on the ground. Yeah, exactly. So what would you use that for?
So let's say it's actually really, really useful for, like, there's some items in the game that are like towers, basically, that have like 2 or 3 different items on it stacked on top of each other. So if you stack them on top of each other and then you turn grounding mode on and then you drag them all at once, it'll actually move the item as it is. If I can, I don't know exactly where they are. I wish I could find them for you because that's a good question.
So if you have grounding mode or magnet mode on, and let's say you have a tower, and then if you put a tower over that old tower, will it not consider the old tower as the ground?
No, it only sees the ground. It won't actually, it won't collide with other objects in the world.
Okay, gotcha. So it's basically there for stacking purposes, much, yeah. And moving in bigger.
Stacking, moving, or if you create like, there's like some buildings in the game that are like, you know, they'll have like that extra foundation underneath of them. If you like, if you sink the building into the ground, you're going to want to use like grounding mode because otherwise it'll like pop it back up to its 0 points. And if you want to like move that it is when you had it there. So you want magnet and grounding mode on, and then you just drag it across the landscape or copy paste it. Whatever you want to do. So another thing, like I just mentioned, is copying and pasting. There's also undo redo. So I can press Control Z, and much like you could in Microsoft Word or whatever, it'll actually undo every object motion that I've done. And also you can redo and crash your client. It's not as buggy as the workbench, all right? It's not as buggy as the workbench. It never does this to me offline, by the way. It never does this offline.
A lot of the buildings in some of the bigger towns are apartments that are basically snapped together. Does this allow you to an easier way of aligning buildings next to each other, or is that something you still have to do manually?
That is something that's very highly requested. I've actually added the third button on that menu next to ground mode is snapping mode. Which is like very, very archaic right now. It needs a lot of tuning and some love. But I'm hoping that like you mentioned, one example that was actually brought to me was lockers. Let's say you wanted to place like 4 lockers down next to each other because the locker objects are actually individual lockers. So how easy would it be for me to just copy a locker over 4 times? And you know, with snapping, that's definitely going to be like very easy to do, and very possible in the future. So another thing, that might have been why, actually, I forgot to create a character. So another thing, you have object categories as well. So, for instance, we have like sedan, I can place cars. So the way that I have the object category set up right now is I have buildings, vehicles, entities, and AI. That's just how I have it categorized right now. So you can spawn whatever you want. I hope I didn't just spawn that animal. That might have been a bad idea. Essentially, the idea is you're going to have like different categories for your item types and everything. And then over here, hopefully, we're going to make it so you can sort of categorize your items even further that you've placed in the world, or you can rename them to whatever you want. Right now, it's very basic to where it's just, you know, it just displays whatever items that you've placed. But in the future, we're hoping that it's like, you know, you can organize, let's just say I have a folder here that says this is Cherno add-ons, and this is Electro add-ons, and this is Kamishovo add-ons. And then you can hide those add-ons with like a little visibility button, so you don't have to load them in the world when you're doing stuff. Because like there is going to be like an issue with like world load, like lag as you like fly around, especially on bad PCs. If you place like a lot of objects down, you're definitely going to want to be able to like hide your objects.
Moonshine's just said something in chat that made me think of something. His question was, to you server people, is there a way to get loot to spawn in a building that it currently doesn't, like the huge apartments, rarely if it ever spawns stuff? Is this going to include a spawn, item spawn system as well? Or is that going to be something you'll have to do, use another program for?
It's already in it.
Loot spawning?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
This is actually a loot spawn editor that we have inside of the editor. So this is currently displaying. This was actually implemented yesterday. So it's currently displaying every loot spawn in this building right here. So there's a loot spawn on that cylinder and that cylinder right there. There's one up here on these shelves right here. You kind of get the idea.
Yeah.
And then the idea is you'll be able to. I'm actually probably going to implement this very soon because people are really wanting to see it. So you'll be able to actually move these cylinders around in your building, add more. You'll be able to like double click on it and edit the properties of that cylinder, and then change what loot it can spawn, what the frequency is, all the properties of the size of what it can, where it can spawn, stuff like that, to make it like super intuitive to people.
Will you be able to make new groups as well, like users flags and all that?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I haven't messed I haven't played around a whole lot with like loot tables yet. That's kind of one of the things that I haven't done in my modding experience, but hopefully yes. But if it's possible, then it will be done. How about that?
So here's what I mean. Like, so if you play, I've recently been playing a decent amount of Tarkov, and in that game, there's very specific, unique spawns for certain items. So it would be cool if you could say, rather than have it always linked to groups, you can also do it for individual items. So you can very precisely place that, and then make that and then make the server spawn that and then frequency where it works for that.
Yeah, yes, definitely. That'll be a thing, because the idea is what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to make your own categories in the property editor, and then hopefully from that you'll be able to just make. Let's just say I want to have category only AK gold or whatever, only gold AK, that, and then you can place that only gold AK category like right where you want it to be.
Okay, that's awesome.
In a building.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. So this is like I said, this is very early proof of concept, but right here, what I'm basically trying to demo is like you can already. It's very possible for us to take a building in the world, and we could take any building too. It doesn't have to be this one. You could take any building you want in the world or in the base game. If it has a loot table and you can load it, it'll do it. 100%. So this is this building here, and there's I can pick up any building you want me to at this point, and it'll do it. Hopefully.
This is actually really exciting watching this, because this is the first proper standalone map editor, but also being allowing you to do like custom loot stuff is really a big deal, because it makes the game so much more dynamic, not knowing the meta of where everything spawns. Like a good example, like you made, Boydie, for someone in your chat. If you can put stuff in apartments, if you can put like specialty items in very rare locations that have a very rare chance of spawning, it makes the game so much more dynamic. And that, this is a big deal. So can you hurry up, please?
Jacob Mango saying,
I'm going as fast
here
as
we go.
can.
The Cherno apartment building, you did it. And there's not a single loot spawn in it.
Yep. So there's the myth busted. Don't go in the apartment buildings for loot. But you can add them if you wanted to.
Yeah, they definitely need it. They definitely need it. They're too good of a building to... Yeah, pretty much nearly everyone I know. Occasionally I'll run in just to check to see if the devs have quietly slipped in stuff spawning into it, but I just ignore them now, other than when you want to have a nice view over something.
Yeah, or a high tower base or whatever you want. But that's sort of like the preliminary loot system. One of the other big features I want to get to as well, which is the one that makes Jesus wet his pants. Oh yeah, the brushes. So the brush tool right here is enableable by this button up here.
I saw you doing this. This is where you could just plant a whole forest.
Yep.
I love
SimCity
this.
mode is what it's called internally. So you can, I was sitting around just kind of messing around. This is the biggest and the most dense. So you have this is the size slider here in radius, and then this is the density and a value 0 to 1. So the idea is you can literally just basically place an entire forest.
And is that randomizing the trees?
Uh-huh. It is, what it's doing is it randomizes which tree it picks based off of, so, okay. It's right now we have categories of trees set up. I don't have them all enabled right now, but we started off with like doing like autumn trees, and then we have, this is just actually just a group of the trees that are available in Trinaris specifically. So it's randomizing which tree it picks. It's randomizing not the position. It's slightly randomizing the orientation from the ground to give it like a little bit of more of like a natural look to it. It's randomizing the rotation as well. So it's doing a lot for every single tree to make it look like as natural as it can. So if you were to be on a player like right here, obviously it looks very dense because I turned the density all the way up. But
quick question: Are these trees you can interact with? You can chop them down and get logs from them. And
I disabled the physics, but yes, normally you can. Yeah,
wow.
They're actual trees. They get placed just like the regular game places them. So, and then there's also I'll hop back in the editor itself real fast. So there's support for different kinds of brushes too. The idea is you'll be able to make whatever brushes you want to make for whatever trees. So this is like going to be very map maker friendly too. For like the Essiker team or whoever else would want to work on it. I've actually been working closely with the Essiker team with this because everybody's going to have their own specific kind. So the goal is to be able to basically make it so anybody can make a group of trees that they want to. They can tell the frequency that they want the tree to be spawned at in that group of trees, because you don't want to spawn just as many dead trees as you spawn regular trees. That would just look weird.
Quick question: does someone's had a question in chat there? Can you ask Inclement if that foliage brush aligns the trees to the normals? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, so he means like the normal of like if you put them on a mountain, right? If you have like a big mountain on a 45-degree angle and you put a tree down, is that tree going to be sticking straight up, or is it going to be normal to the mountain? And it's normal to the mountain. It looks natural. It looks natural to how the game places them.
Wait, wouldn't it be sticking right up in the real world?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I might be in the real world, but I think we looked at how the game does it, and we picked. Oh, it does. Hang on.
No,
I might be
it
speaking out of my ass. I might be speaking out of my ass. Hold up. However, these.
I don't know. They've got a.
You know what? You guys are asking some good questions. Give me a second here. Let me go find. Let me fly over to Cherna real fast here. Let's go to a really big mountain.
Skyrim.
Just want to teleport over here. Let's go on this mountain.
They grow up.
Okay, so it doesn't actually align to the normals. We picked however the game does it. So they actually are placing. They're placing just vertically, and then with a slight randomization of that angle.
It would make sense, right? Because like plants and trees grow towards the sun, so they tried to get as much sun as possible, so grow straight up.
Yeah, see, I don't get a whole lot of sun, so I don't know that.
No.
See, the other thing I liked as I saw there as well, it's probably something very obvious for you, but to me it's quite clever that this brush applicator you've got identifies the terrain. Like I just saw you placing the trees then. It didn't place trees on places where they wouldn't be able to go, like the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same for roads?
It definitely, yeah. It collides. It picks the terrain. It doesn't pick rocks or anything. It doesn't pick buildings, because you don't want to take this tool over here and then if I hover over this bridge, you don't want it to be snapping to the top of the bridge, right? That'd be kind of weird. You want it to snap to the terrain, because the trees aren't going to grow on the bridge. They're going to grow on the grass. So Yep. So that's the trees at least.
Can you go back to the train tracks and just use the tool, use the brush tool, and just basically do like, okay, so it does build it on the train tracks, okay.
Mm-hmm. I can even go back and I can delete that, what I just placed, and I can make it a little bit less dense so it's easier to see.
Would it plant them on the road?
Yeah, it will.
So it will, okay. Is there any way where you can get
from
those?
You can...
It recognizes that, like...
That's more or less on the actual editor or whoever's designing it. If you want to just like spam like a forest here and then go back and then use the delete brush, you can actually go and I can set the delete brush radius to whatever the size of the road is, and then I can go in and I can delete the trees that landed on the road.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that's more or less just on whoever's actually designing the mission.
Yeah,
or the map
more
or whatever.
options. I get it. Yeah, makes sense.
If you want to plant trees on because with the way that the game designs roads, it uses roads for like things that aren't even roads. So you don't want trees to just not get placed on like an object that you would think wasn't a road, but it is. If that makes sense. It's weird.
One thing that really excites me with this is, and pretty much everyone in this Discord, and probably everyone watching as well, 99% of the time, you could be dropped almost anywhere in Chernerus and just look around you at the hills, the trees, and have a pretty good idea of where you are. This is going to enable some communities to really fuck with us and just modify the crap out of so many locations that you literally come over a hill, look at a town, and you could be going, I have no fucking idea what I'm looking at. Unless you are 100% confident of, you've got an in-game map or something like that. This is going to be great, particularly if you get off the beaten
mess
road
with the senses.
In the forest. This is, someone said it before in chat, this is a game-changer mod, mate. This is stunning stuff you're working on right here. It's you modders never cease to amaze me with the shit you do. It's
just so much more. It's just so much more user friendly than what's available right now. And honestly, I'm surprised it took this long for someone to make this. When you think about it, because this is something that Bohemia has in house, so no one has thought, why aren't we not making a mod version of something that the devs used to build the map?
I don't think Bohemia has this in house for Infusion, but DayZ Standalone doesn't use Infusion's mapping system. It's using Arma's old mapping system, so they still use the same tools that we use. They don't have anything special like that.
Ew. Okay.
Yeah.
Digiblast in chat just said, what about expanding the map size? That's something I asked you in your stream the other day. You can't actually edit the land mass with this tool, can you?
Correct. Yeah, that's one limitation of being in the compiled version of the game. You can't edit the mass of like whatever land you're working with. Maybe in the future, if we really want to get like experimental with it, we can make it so that we can modify the bulldozer to where it'll actually, map a little bit more friendly. I'm not sure how possible that would be and how reasonable that would be to do, considering Infusion is still coming out. So, that might just become nullified once full Infusion were to come out. You know what I mean?
DOJ saying do it.
I know. Well, DOJ is the one that also said do it for the brush tool and the grass tool and everything. He's actually, him and I were the ones that, he brought it to my attention in the first place, and I thought of it, but I hadn't really thought of like the impact of what it could do and how helpful it could be to, especially him specifically, because he, I know he spends a lot of time like placing stuff manually and stuff, and there's like I have the grass tool as well that got put in, which is, does what you think it would do. It places grass, and it makes, also in the same time, it makes DOJ feel
Don't do that too
insufficient.
much. Don't do that too much.
Can you draw a cock and balls with trees for Dewan? He wants some trees.
Oh, I totally have. I totally already have. It's been in all my Twitter videos. Every one of them. You could do anything, man. It's crazy.
So with like the add-in trees in with your editor there, could in theory, if someone was to be so horrible, do it live on a server? For example, if someone was, if say the server had like 20, 30 people on it, and you see one of your community members driving up the road and you think, I'm going to have a laugh.
I'm going to place a
just
tree
plonk
right
a tree
here.
in front of him. So he barrels
That's
into
evil. That's evil. So that goes back a little bit to like the server compatibility that I mentioned before. In the future, I would absolutely love to have server compatibility with something like this, and to make it much like a Zeus mod with Arma 3. What the feasibility of that is, we're not entirely sure. We think it's going to be very possible. We just gotta we have to really play around with it and just see what it's going to be like. But to answer your question, hopefully yes. I'd love to be able to do that too.
I want to use the bomb brush on a live server.
That's also one of my favorite things is the boom brush.
Create rocks and build the roads. Car coming.
Moonshine's got a couple of questions there. Can you change the trees to hardwood and not pine? Also, and this is the one that I was more interested in, can you make a cave, or could you make a tunnel system somewhere?
I think I just might have mem-leaked my game. So caves, it depends on what you mean by caves, because a lot of times when people do caves and maps and stuff like that, and they do like the custom terrain like that, oh boy. Oh, DayZ did not like that. Too many booms. Hold up. That's the fun thing about pushing the envelope of whatever you're doing. It doesn't like it sometimes. So the caving, if you were to like place rocks around like areas, you could definitely make like a pseudo cave or something like that. But in terms of like a lot of times, like when maps like make caves, like if you think Demalsk from Arma 2, that was actually one of my favorite maps of all time. I think Sumrak did a really good job with that. But he had like that one hidden underground area where it was like you took a ladder down into like object A2 or whatever, and it was like this whole underground cavern. But what he's actually done to the map is he's actually punched a hole in the ground, and then he's brought it all the way back and then filled it with items outward, because the game doesn't actually allow you to put holes in the world. It doesn't like that. So with the actual editor itself, you wouldn't be able to like punch holes in the ground or anything, but you would definitely be able to like place rocks around. And if you had like a low area or whatever, and you could cover it with rocks or something like that, and then cover those rocks with trees to make it look like it's overgrown, and then you could have the player go inside it there. Absolutely, yeah. That's totally possible.
You couldn't create like an underground tunnel network underneath Tizzy or the Northwest Airfield or something like that.
It's a good question, because I think it goes much deeper than just that, of whether or not you would have to figure out a way to break the terrain a little bit. But I mean, you can like place objects under the world too. So if you could figure out a way to get the character to go through the world with like a ladder or something like that, then yeah, you can totally like place stuff under the world too.
So next week we'll see a nice demo from you on it.
It might be worth asking Adam about that. Sumrak.
Yeah.
Could do, yeah. I don't think he'll like it very much for me breaking this game. He might patch it if I tell him about it, but...
I mean, he's doing that stuff for the mouse too, right? So...
True. Well, yeah, we'll have to see. I like stuff like that whenever I have the editor Discord, which I believe I posted in like in the links for the podcast, but there's actually an open suggestions channel for stuff like that. So if you have like ideas for things like that, I mean, just bring them in and I read every one of them. And if it's like a really good one that I can do like right now, I've picked ideas from there and just done them like the day of, because I really liked them and they were like good ideas. And then to answer your other question about the hardwood, go ahead.
More colors.
Tons more colors.
More colors in the UI.
Yeah, it's still very much a work in progress, but we're gonna make it much more. Steve's already doing like a really good job with that. Like this is the background colors was the crap that I picked when I first did it. I'm not a UI guy. I don't.
It's fine. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
But yes, you can change from hardwood. So here, actually, let me sort of give you an idea of how that works right now and how I would like to have that. So it's actually really simple. If you guys have ever edited like an XML file before, I haven't even gone over like a lot of the exporting and everything, so we still got to do that. But let me just find some samples real fast for you. So under your profiles, and then in your client, so you have your client profile for your DayZ, right? This is like where we have editor folder, and this is like everything that you're ever going to want to save, export, import, whatever. We're pretty much going to work out of this folder. The goal is to basically have an XML file that would like sit like this. So you can have, trees.xml. And then you'd be able to go in here, and then you'd be able to say, this is a very sort of like a fleshed out example, but basically you would have tree, and then you would say name equals this, and then you would say frequency equals this, and that would be it. And then that's how you would add more trees to it. And then this tree tool would use this information. And you can put 1,001 trees in this if you wanted to. You don't have to just do one tree. You can do 1,000 different trees. You can do 1,000. You could do buildings. You could do whatever you want. You could do cars. Doesn't matter. You can even do hordes of zombies. You could have a brush that places zombies down in the world. I'm sure that would work fine too. And then you would just set whatever parameters you wanted for this, and then you would use it as is. And make 1,001 custom brushes, as many custom brushes as the user wants to use for inside the world. So you can, have as many different tree brushes as you want, as many different, just all kinds of cool stuff. Because I mean, the power's in the user's hands at this point. This isn't something that I want to say, you got to place these trees down. Anybody can place trees down and they can place whatever they want.
What are you limited to using? As in, can you add custom buildings, custom anything to the list of... Wow.
Yeah. So actually, we're running the builder items mod right now because it adds, you can see there's stuff prefixed with builder if I scroll down enough. So BLDR, this is how your any mod would show up. Actually, I can demo completely if you want me to. It would take me a moment, but I can basically load a custom map. I can load any mod that you guys would want me to load, and any content mod with stuff inside of it, and we can just load it right in and we can just run.
So someone could
if you guys got
theoretically
something you wanna
design
say.
a whole new building and upload it to this and use that new
Upload
building
it to the workshop.
that no one's
Upload
ever
it to the
seen
workshop.
before.
Load the mod. Yeah. As long as the server's running the mod when you place it down, that's the important part. But if the server has the mod, the workshop mod, whatever, and then from there it's pretty simple.
That's huge to me. That's fucking huge because I don't know about the rest of you, but I get bored. One thing that does bore me is the same old buildings over and over and over again. Just imagine being able to go in and add a whole pile of new buildings that no one's ever seen before. I constantly get excited when I jump on a server I've never played on before and I find something unique about that server. And just knowing that there's now a way that so many different servers can make their own, whether someone wants to try and recreate the 0.62 map or go way back to one of the early patches when Below the Tents was still there and, the old Mosquito. Well, not that you could really ever do that again because you don't have the valley with the base at the bottom of it anymore. But just, that's huge. That's another massive thing to know that you can design custom buildings now and just add them.
And another thing is you can sort of one of the other big things is you can save whatever you've worked on, share it between each other. You can save it and open it. Expansion, COM, so community offline mode, and also init files from servers. You'll be able to import that information. So if you've got an existing map that you've already developed in COM or expansion or whatever, and you want to bring that into the editor and then you want to modify it, you can totally do that. And then you can export that data for expansion, server data, COM data, VPP, whatever you want to export it for. It'll work out, and it'll happily communicate with whatever you've already got. So you don't have to just build your things from scratch. It's actually very much something that you can build from, whatever you've already got. So for instance, I place these buildings down, okay? And then I'm going to do Control S. So that just saved. So then I'll tab into my editor file. So what that just did was that actually made editorsave.dze, which has all of my building data. It's got all my world object data inside of it with the transformation data and stuff. So now what I can do is, let's just say I delete all these buildings. I go over here and I've got a couple other things and I fly away. And then I do Control O for open. I've just loaded those buildings back in from that save file.
And then the others are gone, though.
Yeah, because I didn't save them.
Yeah, gotcha.
There'll be a prompt that's basically says, are you sure you want to overwrite your saved data or whatever? And, you can say yes or no. Early development. But it'll be very friendly to sort of share what your creations are with other people. You'll be able to take, hey, I built this town, and then export it. You should import it and take a look at it. Because, that's another thing with, categories as well. Because I'm sure that people are going to, want to build entire map modifications with their tool. They're going to want to, mod the whole map. They're not just going to want to put buildings right here. They're going to want to mod, Vibor. They're going to want to mod, Electro and Cherno. So they're going to have... But let's just say I don't want to export my entire map and just, save that. All I want to do is export these buildings right here. So then all you got to do is select, and then you would basically set the setting that says only export selected, and then you would Control E, and then that's for exporting. So then what that's done is I actually have it set up to export every type. But I think these are my 3 export files here, yeah. So my 3 different export types. So people that do mapping will actually recognize a lot of this stuff. So or people who run, this one's for the server specifically. So people who run servers, you guys will recognize this is the kind of thing that would be put inside of your init.c, where you have the spawn object. And then this is exactly what it does. It's going to spawn the objects in those specific positions. Let's say you're also running expansion, they have the map system, the .map files, if you've seen them. They're a bit more efficient than using spawn object. I recommend using that if you're running expansion on your server 100%. So that spawns that data, or that exports that data out. And then finally, for the guys who use Terrain Builder and do mapping, this may look familiar to you as well. So Garage Tall, it actually gets the right model name and everything like that. It has your X offset correctly. It's got your Z position, your Y position set up right. So you'll be able to export for Terrain Builder. I also am setting it up with the VPP guys to do VPP, expansion, and server exports as well. So you'll be able to export for anything that you want to do, anything that pretty much anybody would be using standardly. And if something new comes out, it's not hard for me to add that too. It wouldn't be far-fetched.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I am literally just... It's almost too much to take in just how massive this is. I'm looking at your face, Brim. You look like how I'm feeling. It's like I get lost with some of the stuff, but I just know that what you're talking about is going to be a lot bigger than... I'm so glad people brought you to my attention, mate, because this is... There's been so many big things in DayZ, of late, but this is... Wow. This... I reckon, Minder, you're sitting there thinking about what you can do with your Karma Crew server. Ben, you're thinking about what you can do with your Blue Waffle servers. Brim, you're thinking about what you can do with the Grumpy Old Streamer server. And there'll be people in the chat, people watching this video when we upload it, people watching Minder stream right now just going, I can't wait to see what people do with this mod. This is just some amazing shit, mate. I don't think we've ever spent this long on an intro with a guest, have we, Brim?
I was just thinking that as it happens. I think this might be the longest we've gone. But yeah, it's like you said, Boydie, I'm kind of sitting here not knowing massively what's going on, kind of like I'm in a foreign country, but enjoying it nonetheless, just seeing the potential for the future and what we can, what we can see coming through in, at some point. And, it's truly pretty incredible. I mean, the only thing that I would like to see at some point as well, and I don't know if it's possible through this or whether it be a Bohemia situation, but there's a lot of existing buildings that have areas that you cannot access.
Yes.
Like we all see those doors with the big iron bars across them. It's like you can't go through that door. And if you were to go into like FreeCam as a server admin, you can see that there's literally fuck all behind it. It's an empty shell of a building. So I think one thing I would like to see is a lot of buildings get more interiors in the future and have that more variety and be able to get into more rooms and have custom spawn points for gear and things like you were showing earlier, Inclement, with the the red barrel symbols and things like that. Because there's so many buildings, especially like industrial buildings, that are just, they're literally an outer shell and there's almost nothing else inside. And it would be great to see more options like that.
Yeah, I think I 100% get what you're saying. One of the big things is what you said before about like inaccessible areas and modifying buildings specifically. That's going to be on. If somebody wants to take an existing building into the object editor or whatever and modify that building to have another room in it, they can totally do that. They can bring it in and then they can place it in the world. But this isn't necessarily built for like editing stuff like that. That's actually not possible in the engine to edit like the existing building. It's built for placing the building in the world and sort of giving you the tools to make your creations with that building. But on the other end of it, unfortunately, it's not necessarily possible with the engine as of right now.
We can't keep our fingers crossed because I remember when I interviewed Sumrak, I raised that with him, specifically talking about the fire station. And if I remember right, at the time he said, no, we won't be doing any changes to the buildings. And then within a few months or so, he opened up the other half of the fire station. Not completely, but the fire station got a rework, which blew my mind. And yeah, it does annoy me that, especially some of the industrial buildings where there's one small side building or side attachment to the building that you can get into, and the rest of it's just this big block that takes up part of the map, and there's no use to it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I just think personally, what I like about this is that obviously you guys see something that yes can be done in the game. You can build stuff, you can do a bunch of the stuff that you're doing, but you're just saying like the tools that we have right now are just not good enough. Let's step up our game and create a tool that is actually good enough that will let anyone with ease efficiently build stuff in DayZ. And I love that mindset because.
And there goes my stream again.
And I feel like that is a philosophy. Like, if we want this game to really become something bigger than it is right now, it's time to, for modders, to step up our game. Let's try and be more. Let's try and push everyone to try new things. Try and bring stuff in the game that has not been seen yet. And I think this is a good example of yes, we can. We have the tools. We have the tools available. But this is modders stepping up their game. And I hope that modders are going to look at this and go like, damn, okay, so what I'm doing, let's try and make something like this and take this as an example. I think what you're doing is very good with this, man. And
Thank you.
What's the best way people can support you, mate?
So I have a Twitch account, or I stream quite often. A lot of the development for this is on stream. So if you just watch the stream, hang out, that's honestly just more than enough. I got a Twitter account where I post updates for this too. We have an editor Discord. If you want to get more involved in the project, you have suggestions or whatever, hop into that, come say hi. I mean, like, the whole community has already been like really supportive of the project. The community that you guys have here is really, really awesome, and it's really what's kept me going for this entire project, because it has been a big undertaking and it has been a lot, but I've enjoyed every step of the way, because specifically just everybody involved has just been so awesome and kind and helpful and in every way. And I appreciate you guys, every one of you.
Where can I pay for heli?
Not me, Chief. You got the wrong guy.
Wrong guy? Oh shit. Okay.
Oh shit.
It's totally totally scripted, mate. Totally scripted.
But I mean, you guys got any questions or anything? You said we were still on the intro. I didn't know.
No, seriously. Like, normally they go for 20 minutes to 30 minutes or so. That we focus on something to do with the guest. This has just been like everyone. Obviously, I can't see M1ndr and Ben, but myself and Brim have just been, kind of. We're a little bit over our depth here, but what we could understand of it was enough to make us go fucking wow. This is some next level shit.
I was caught in the middle because I've already seen a lot of this stuff because I've been tuning into the streams. I was in a different Discord with Inclement before, and I did say to you it was going to go for a long one this week, mate, didn't I?
Oh
yeah. You did.
I did warn you.
Wow. Okay, so other topics that we've got tonight. A quick one. I'll copy the link and post it into chat. Mr. Uncooper has put a poll out that he would like people to do. Showing, basically it's about, I think it was about 8 to 10 fairly short questions, just asking general state of DayZ stuff. So if anyone is interested, please click on the link, open it up in another window or something like that, and fill it out for him. I'm not sure what he's going to do with it. Knowing Uncooper, he'll probably make another fucking top quality video. He's rare as rocking horse shit lately with putting videos out, but when he does, they're usually a fucking gem. So please give him some support and fill out his little survey for him, and we'll see what he does with it from there.
It's definitely quality over quantity.
Yes,
with him, isn't it?
It is,
and I think that's the best way to do it.
Next topic. We've done that. We've done that one. Camino shared Anarchy's map post. So this was the Essica map, is it?
I think that's the newest one going, isn't it?
I watched a bit of his video. Fuck me swinging, that map just looks stunning.
It looks phenomenal, that map, doesn't it? I've only seen like bits and bobs and, you know, not a massive amount. It's something that I need to sort of spend a little bit of time next week properly looking into. But yeah, it looks like a phenomenal map. My only sort of concern at the moment, and I don't think it's necessarily really a valid concern, so to speak, because it's kind of understandable, is that, and if anyone has any information that refutes what I'm about to say, please feel free to speak up. But from what I can tell so far, the only way to access it is to, I think it's to donate or something. I saw somewhere you have to go into the Discord for it, and you have to sort of sign up for something or so. I saw somewhere. I might be off the beaten track on that. You know, but I can kind of understand being how early into the development of it is that you kind of need to keep things as simple as possible. But I think trying to get everything out as quick as possible, let everyone get on it and test it. And I think, you know, you open up your testing pool to so many more people that will know what to do with it and how to fix issues. I think is probably the best way to go, in my opinion anyway.
Marx is saying, yes, you need to donate, but $5 will get you the map and you can play it in offline mode. Donate for early access, I would assume. I got no issue with that. Yeah, it's the same reason why I asked you, Inclement, how can people best support you? And obviously, you know, you mentioned your Twitch and that. I've got no problem with you guys making a few bucks to support development of mods like you're working on, or a map that, quite frankly, is got a much more apocalyptic feel to it than Churnerus does.
Yeah, I think they're doing actually a really good job with Esker, though. I was using it a lot. I was talking with Monkey. Monkey's one of the testers actually helping me, and they're killing it over there. They're doing a really, really good job.
Yeah, I think for me, because I've never played any of the Armour games, I joined to the sort of the DayZ side of things, you know, sort of around 0.62, maybe late 0.5s. So I never really had that knowledge of what things were for everyone else way back in the day. So for me, I'm sort of at the point where you guys were 5 years ago, where I'm just discovering so many cool things, even though I've...
Oh. I am really sorry about this, folks.
Is your internet being an arsehole again?
It's my Discord. I opened up my task manager before, and Discord was running at about 20 to 30% of my CPU.
Bloody hell.
So I don't know why. Give me 1 sec. I'll restart Discord and I'll come back and join you in a second, just to see if that fixes it.
No worries.
Okay.
And what we do is we wait for him to leave, and then we talk.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
You as well, Dancer Jesus.
No one looks at me.
Oh, he's back. Very quiet. Shh.
But he fucked up his camera.
Oh, uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't think his camera's going to come back on now. I don't know.
Give me a sec. I know how to fix that.
It's okay. This is the Brimstone podcast now. Yeah. He's on the big screen. He's on the big screen.
Yeah, I need to fix my hair before I,
Oh yeah.
get into being,
I gotta be sure to trim my beard and everything too.
I've fucking given up on mine.
Nerf the foot.
Can we talk about a car filter over Inclement Dab's microphone? Like, what the fuck?
What? Oh. What? I like it.
Massive.
Valve from a
It's
fucking
like
drift-
one
I
of
live
those.
with other people, so when I yell straight into it, it's not as bad for them. It's
like
still
one of
pretty
those
bad, but
chip
it's like it's kind of
baskets for an
dampens
air
it a little bit.
fryer or something.
Holy crap.
All right.
How can you see past
I
that?
didn't know we were coming here to roast this. His name is Charlie. He's very nice.
Okay, that restart, it's now dropped down to around about 15% of my CPU. DayZ Jesus was saying he's been having problems with Discord as well. Yeah. Okay.
You're on the wrong scene, Boydie.
I'm on the wrong theme.
Scene. Oh,
on your stream, mate.
Yeah. Oh,
You're on your starting soon screen.
This is why we call it the Boomer Zone. You'd think after 4 years of doing this that I would have been slightly better at what I do, but yeah. Okay, so M1ndr, we seem to be mentioning this guy every single fucking week. He is one of the absolute legends of the DayZ community, this guy, and he's just released a gallery of all of his stuff.
Absolutely phenomenal work, isn't it? I've been wanting that so much for so long, for him to just put it all in one place so you don't have to scroll through his Twitter feed. And I can only imagine the amount of work that had to go into that, because he's added, it's different to what you see on his Twitter normally. It's still the same pictures, but he's put so much extra effort into making that gallery something a little bit more special that it's brilliant.
He's an amazing guy.
I'm my Discord.
I think Erno has some of his stuff in his intermission screen, which is
Yeah.
pretty smart, really, to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw a thing from M1ndr on Twitter the other week. He was replying to someone asked, can I am I okay to use one of your pictures in a YouTube video? Obviously, I'll give you credit. And M1ndr's reply was, just use it, mate. Don't even need to give me credit. It's out there for you. Feel free. I think that speaks to the kind, that along with the fact he creates these things in the first place, speaks to the kind of great guy he quite clearly is.
He's actually
Honestly,
Sorry, Ben.
those tips would make great server loading screens.
Yeah, the only issue is, though, that so many servers have modified themselves so far from the vanilla values that a lot of what he talks about might not be as relevant for some of the values. But I still, I don't understand the guy. Like, I don't even know. Like, when I say I don't understand him, I like to do selfless things myself, but I don't think I've ever once seen him ask for $1. He just does it out of pure passion and love for the game. He's a rare creature. He's up there on my list of I've got my there's two people who I really want to get for an interview, and that's Frankie and Dean Hall, and M1ndr is probably now number 3. I've asked him, and he politely declined because he feels his English is not good enough. I somehow get the feeling that he'd probably be a bit like Jakub and Steve. Well, sorry, not Jakub, Steve from the expansion project. And
Yes,
he's
I
probably
think
being
Steve
very
kind of
critical.
sold himself a bit short.
Yeah, but M1ndr, I would love to get him on because I just love to pick his brain apart. He's a very confusing man. He does such high quality, brilliant work. And yeah, what's his motivation? There's not many people like him out there.
Yeah, I think that's the cynical side of me comes out in that a little bit as well. I think we should all aspire to be a bit more like M1ndr and be selfless and just do things for the good of the community and other people. But at the same time, there's an arsehole part of me that's not literally my arsehole that thinks, there's got to be some alternate motive. Like, is he really, looking for world domination and
It's
somehow
a
doing
pyramid
it through the
scam.
medium?
We just don't know how it works yet.
Yeah, one day we'll figure it out, and by that time it will be too late.
He's going to do up this lovely graphic animation that says, "Send me 1 Bitcoin, I'll send you 2 back." Okay, some of yous got it, some of yous didn't. Ben, I know you got it.
I was on to, yeah.
It was a big scam a while ago. A few YouTube channels got hacked, and a video was playing. No, it was Twitter accounts. Sorry, Twitter accounts got hacked.
Yeah, a lot of verified Twitter accounts got hacked.
Obama.
It happened again recently.
Mr. Beast. Yeah, the recent one was
Elon
this
Musk.
time they did YouTube channels. But probably the worst one of the lot was the Mr. Beast one, because he's known for doing incredibly crazy, generous things. But really, if Obama sent me a message saying, send me $1,000 and I'll send you 2,000 back, I'd be like, yeah, right after I reply to this Nigerian prince about this inheritance of mine.
Yeah,
Nigerian
I'll give you the money
prince.
that the Nigerian prince gives me back. Yeah, I got you. Don't worry. I'll hit you up.
But yeah, as Mondian man, he's a phenomenal individual. Val shared this. This was funny. This is something we always like to try to have something funny to watch. We've got two about Don Sibley, a massive. He's just getting huge, this guy. But what can I say? Just had to sort it out. Don Sibley put this tweet out. And for those who know Don, fuck, this guy looks like Don Sibley.
There is never going to be a time in my life where this shit.
Where is
So it's on Twitter. I think it's probably the share your screen thing in the Discord. You'll be able to show it up on your stream as well.
Yeah, it is showing on the stream now. But yeah, it's just.
Do you guys have like a chat for like during podcasts where you can share links and watch with the guests and stuff?
Oh shit! I'm not showing it with. Give me 1 second. I normally 1 second. So you guys are bloody looking at a blank screen. If I share your screen, oh my god, this is just being an absolute nightmare for me. I've got this open. Why is it not letting me? There we go. Now it is. Source. Go live. There we go. Can you guys see it now?
Yep.
Yeah, it's up.
In cling film.
Tell me that's not Don. That looks like fucking Don Sibley, eh?
Well, not anymore, right? Like he
No.
didn't he cut his beard?
He did, and
I
that's the next topic.
I'm wondering if that's why he's trying to get away from that.
But yeah, that's
We're just going to keep hammering it home.
Brim shared his new look. I could barely recognise him.
Yeah, I think if that guy walked up to me in the street and said, "Oh, Brim, I was on the podcast a few weeks back. It's Don." I'd be like, "Fuck right off! How the fuck? Who are you?" I would definitely be skeptical.
Put the beard back. I don't like it.
He looks like Trevor now from GTA.
Yeah, well, he actually brought that up on one of his streams one day. I jumped into one of his streams and someone came into his chat and said, "Fucking hell, I didn't realise Trevor from GTA streamed DayZ." And he was just like, "Who the fuck is this person?" And he on his stream he Googled it and went, "Do you guys really think I look like Stephen Ogg?" And everyone in the chat was like, "Yes, you're literally his fucking identical twin brother. Like, how do you not see it?"
That's the brows. The brows do it.
No, he's an absolute legend, and he's going to go places as well. One thing I like about him is he's got that level of professionalism with his show when he does it. You know, he's got those lovely little animations and little alerts and stuff like that. The bar has definitely risen for DayZ streamers. You can still get noticed and get big just by turning on a webcam and just streaming with minimal stuff, but you know, when you've got people coming out with these custom stuff, like I mentioned him quite a bit, but Lax Hawthorne, his donation alerts, they crack me up still every single time. Have you ever seen a Minder?
Yeah. Lax is a fucking crazy motherfucker.
He is just, but yeah, some people, I don't think some people could pull it off the way he has, in that, he basically, thanks for the follow, you're one step away from being a sub, and then he makes this ching, money symbol, and you just, some people would feel awkward, but it works for him. You don't take it the wrong way. It's just, it's funny. It's funny.
It clearly comes across the way he means it, as a joke, as a laugh, as something unique.
Yeah.
I don't think in all the times I've been in his chat, I don't think anyone has ever said, "Oh, that's a little bit desperate looking," or had anything to say negatively about it, because I think the way he does it is so well done that it does come across exactly as he intends it.
Yep.
And I would love to do something like that, but I know for a fact that I could nowhere near pull that off the way he does.
God no.
It's smart, really, when you think about it.
Oh, very.
From the beginning, make that a running joke. Like, I think he probably thought about that, thinking about like, okay, we have this whole thing. How can I make it so it becomes like a running joke?
Yeah.
In the stream, and then just have it be itself.
And it's not a bad thing, because he's been very open about saying he's a full-time streamer now. So by being a full-time streamer, you're basically stating to everyone, I'm going to try to make my income from streaming games and putting on a performance for you. I've got no issue with that at all, and I think he's a very clever businessman. Just that it's a very clever marketing strategy that should be applauded for what it is. A nice tongue-in-cheek way of basically saying, simp me, simp for me.
And I think Lax is another one like M1ndr as well, where he's so humble. If you go into one of Lax's streams and compliment him, he will thank you for the compliment, but you can see it in his face. It makes him slightly uncomfortable because he is such a humble, nice guy. I don't think he quite knows how to react to it, and I mean that in a positive way. He is genuinely one of the very few genuine nice guys out there.
Other than if he finds you in game, then he's not a very nice guy,
and then he will fuck you up. Yeah.
The next one. Just to let everyone know, we now have a Discord that is devoted entirely to this show. Obviously, if you're in here, you know it, but I'll get a link for it. Copied. Posted it into the chat there. I've got to set up a command for it, but I just felt that my other Discord, being a boomer, I've got fucking bells and whistles and shit fucking different bloody categorizations for everything from what I had for breakfast through to what my dog did at lunchtime. So this way it's just streamlined to stuff about the podcast is all going to be in here in the podcast. Try to keep it as minimal as possible. If I go too far with it, let me know and I'll try to scale it back, but keep it as simple as possible and just something separate, because the whole concept of this show is to be a community show for the community, and the podcast is meant to be, Discord is meant to be a place where people can hang out and discuss shit and just, have fun. Just talk about DayZ. This is first and foremost a DayZ fan production to support this game that we all love so fucking much.
I'll copy the link, put it in my chat.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Sadly, Anna is leaving Bohemia Interactive, was the next one. We're now into the DayZ Twitter watch. And it's kind of, I've got mixed feelings on this one. I did deal a bit with Anna, but not a lot of people got to. She was a community manager, or basically the equivalent of baddie, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong there, anyone. But she's leaving the DayZ team in Bohemia at the end of August. While I'm not saying goodbye yet, I wanted to say a few words of appreciation to the DayZ community. So much passion, so much love in you people. The times I got to deal with her, she was amazing. It was just very... she was the equivalent of Martin. Well, there you go. She was higher than Baddie. She was the marketing manager, or whatever. I forgot.
Brand manager.
Brand manager. But yeah, just didn't... Even Martin was more out there and known, but prior to Jakub taking on the role, the DayZ community team just kind of went really quiet, which was really sad to see. But regardless of that, I wish her the best, as I'm certain the resties do. I think she's going to Spain, she said in a follow-up tweet.
Yeah, I saw something. She put a picture up of some sort of like a digger or some sort of plant machinery doing a ramp off a dirt ramp or something, and said that she had got her work permits or something that she needs to go across. So she's sort of at the final prep stages before moving over. So yeah,
I actually met Anna personally. I think it was when Livonia released. Before it released, Bohemia had a stand on at EGX in London. That was the first London edition again. And she actually invited, I think, a bunch of streamers. Paul and I ended up going, where we basically were there and to check out the game and record some footage, and then be able to make a video about it. She took us out to dinner as well with a bunch of other members of the community, which was actually a nice thing. Like she actually really wanted to do something back for the community. You could really tell doing back for the creators, you know, like she specifically wanted to, because Paul and I got paid to go there as well, which is something that Bohemia has never done. Like they have never given anything to creators in that regard. They've given away keys, but that's about the extent of what they've done. And she really wanted to have all these creators that backed the game for so long and wanted to do something back. And you could definitely tell that at the time she was very limited to the options that Bohemia set for her, because she was, you know, obviously you want to do as much as possible, but yeah, you're limited in your budget and stuff. But yeah, her personality is she's very Czech in that regard, even though she's not from there. I think she's Russian.
Yeah.
Russian,
She
yeah.
is Russian.
But she's very like straight to the point, not fucking around. She'll tell it how it is. And I actually really like that she's like that. And in general, like a lot of the peeps working at Bohemia in the Czech Republic are very much like that. But yeah, it's sad to see her go. But you know, it's also kind of interesting to see another one of the team leaving.
Yeah.
There's definitely a very quick going through rate there. And I think that's ever since Peter, Eugene, and all those guys left.
It almost seems as well like it's the same or similar sort of departments, in the sense that it's sort of like community managers and things like that. They seem to be going through a lot quicker than other things at times, which I can't understand necessarily why, to a degree, but I mean, I think we've got very lucky in the last sort of couple of months with having Jakub being the community manager, and now I think he said someone else has taken over that position temporarily, who's been, you know, sort of doing quite a good job on their Twitter as well. And you know, it is a shame to see people go, but I think she's going and doing something else that she enjoys a lot more. So I think as long as she's happy, I think that's the main thing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
On another note, we just got another suggestion for a emote for the channel, dead game. Someone in chat, yeah, because it's a dead game since day one. Yes, that's an emote for the for the podcast Discord. Dead game. We're slowly building up our catalogue of ideas for some emotes to get made. I'm going to speak to Knifey Spoony about it. She's pretty cool. But yeah, it's you touched on something there, though, Mind, that does surprise me with the game, and something we've talked about on the podcast before about that. BI is, quite frankly, fucking shocking with their marketing of this game. They really are. Like you mentioned, that's the first time you've ever heard of them spending money. I asked them once for a discount code that I could use for. I've given away probably 10 to 15 DayZ related merch items. Not a lot, but you know, that comes out of my own pocket. And I asked for a code that I could use to buy the items at a slightly reduced price, considering it's something I do that kind of benefits them in a way. Yes, it benefits me as well, but It's no secret I've never made a fucking, pretty much everything I make goes back into it in some way, shape or form. I don't make that much at all. But I didn't even get a reply on that. They're shocking at marketing.
Yeah, I think they almost seem to rely on their content creators to do the marketing for them, which, I mean, it makes sense. That's obviously part of the total package overall when when you've got a video game company, but they definitely need to step up their game and just chuck a couple of dollars towards doing something else that's going to help, because I mean, obviously it's far. We joke about the whole dead game thing. It's obviously we're joking that it's far from it, but like they haven't really, with the exception of just I think the thing they are doing at the moment that in the right sort of direction is I've noticed they're doing a lot of creator spotlight stuff on Twitter at the moment, and it's becoming almost a daily thing. Yes. And they actually asked on Twitter the other day for suggestions. And Tommy DeGun ended up being the suggestion for the day, which I highly recommend you check that guy out. So I think they are heading in the right direction, but it'd be interesting to see if they can sort of bring something else forward to kind of help out as well.
What are they like at interacting with communities?
I have in terms of like keys and stuff like that. Sumrak's been very helpful with me for things like that.
I always feel bad.
Sumrak's been like the most
Sumrak.
helpful for sure.
Yeah,
but I almost feel bad.
They've never actually had a set direction. I think that's the problem. I think Bohemia, like some of the people that have the say over this, especially I think like project lead. I forgot his name. He's now working for the other guy. No, he set up his own. Was he the one that set up his own company in Bratislava under THQ? What's his name again? Marek, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, the project lead obviously is the one kind of overlooking lead producer, where there was former Brian Hicks and Dean Hall,
and Eugene,
and then Peter Nespasny, Eugene, and they're all about the money. Like they have to make sure is that, hey, can we do this? Like it has to be improved by him, and you can definitely tell is that there was no real plan for that, and Bohemia has always been a little bit conservative with spending that money there, and I think that's always has been an issue with them, to be honest. Like it is a privately owned company, still is, and I think because of that they might have been a little bit cautious with taking risks, and to a degree I get it, but it also has been massively negatively affecting their success as a company. Like I wish they would have been a little bit more brave in that department.
Same. I'd like to see them do more, and it seems like they could easily do some things. Like we talked a couple of weeks back that they need to. Why haven't they reached out to? As I know, the guy is divisive, but every time you see a poll about who is your favourite DayZ content creator of all time, there's one guy who takes the lead every time, and it took Ben from Blue Waffle to sit down and take Frankie on a tour of DayZ to show him what has changed. Why haven't they reached out to do some sort of paid promotion to to pay him? I don't know how much they would pay. Mindy, you'd probably have a better idea. You've done a paid gig with them before, but pay him to make some videos on DayZ again. It would be massive. The guy's still got 3 million subscribers on YouTube.
They probably have already done that, honestly.
Would he be interested in that?
Yeah, I was going to say, whether or not Frankie turned it down.
I spoke to Frankie and Sadler afterwards as well. Frankie's not interested in making content on DayZ SA because of the amount of bugs and stuff that are in it. When obviously Frankie's coming back, and for him to leave the job he's been in and come back at this, he wants to. When he comes back, he wants to be doing it like, what Frankie's like. When he does something, he does it very, very well. So he's got a schedule of that he wants to release content with, and DayZ SA does not fit in with that schedule. The amount of problems that it's got will slow him down, so he's not going to be doing DayZ SA content.
Yeah, so when he's coming back, he's just going to stick to Arma.
It's Armour 3 DayZ. He's calling it. I don't know exactly what they're playing, but not DayZ.
It's kind of a bummer. Obviously he could do a lot for DayZ. Coming back, but if he wants to do it in Arma, he wants to do it in Arma. I get it. There, the options are more there to create the stories that he wants to do with like the custom, probably like custom map stuff, like the zoo stuff, to give more options to create a better storyline. I get it.
I forgot to show you the lightning.
No, it's fine. I get it. I disagree with it, but I get it. It is what it is.
I disagree with it as well, and I kind of go back to Brim, you were saying about Asmondian. The DayZ needs more people like that. I kind of have a philosophy of DayZ. Yes, he made that content and he helped make DayZ, but DayZ gave him the tools to create the content that he did. And call this presumptuous, call this arrogant, but I think it'd be the least he could do to throw a bone to the old girl that helped him achieve 3 million subscribers and countless fucking... I really don't know how much you would earn from the videos that he gets. I don't think I've ever had a video get over 5,000 or 6,000 views, and I think I was demonetized at the time when they did that horrible bloody under 1,000 subscribers or whatever it was, and you lost your demonetization. But yeah,
to be honest, I think Bohemia owes Frankie more than Frankie owes Bohemia.
Yeah, but it would be something nice for you to do. Yes, you could argue they do, and I agree on that. But surely there's got to be some sort of there's nothing I hate more than seeing these people who made their name with DayZ and then turn around and start just shitting on it to the point where there's nothing wrong with criticizing the game and the many features, because we don't use the B word here, that it has, but to turn around and then hate on it. Now, I'm not saying Frankie's hating on it, but I think it'd be, even if he just did an honest video talking about why he's not going to come back to DayZ, and just that it doesn't suit the sort of videos that he makes. It's too featurey at the moment, and I
don't think he owes anyone anything, to be honest. He's just doing his thing, and he's always has been doing his thing. I think he's just going to come back and on his own terms. And that's that, really. I hope it does well. The thing is I don't think it's going to do a lot for DayZ if he's doing it in Arma. I think it actually might hurt the game more.
Yeah.
Because people are going to look at, DayZ is still not good enough. When it, honestly, realistically, it is. But
yeah.
To be fair, I don't know. I don't know what to what extent, because he's talking to people. I think he might be relying a lot on Sada for that. To tell him, what's the game like right now? And Sada does not exactly play on the kind of servers that have a small amount of bugs, So I don't know. I don't know. You could be consulting many people, and and all this, but for what he wants, there's definitely a lot, especially with the VPP stuff. And if you build an entire server and an entire team about building your story, you can 100% without issues do it in DayZ. 100%, unless he wants to go crazy with aliens and shit. But I don't know. It's
you can do scripted content just as good. Look, touchy topic and all, but look at Anarchy. Someone shared the video that he just put up, and I watched it, and it was fucking. I didn't get to watch all of it. It was a 50-minute video. But just the opening sequences of it was fucking amazing. It was very reminiscent of, different music and different sort of feel and that. And he doesn't quite have the same voice as Frankie had. Frankie just had one of those voices you just loved listening to. But you can do it. It can be done.
Yeah, I find it difficult to believe as well that all this time that Frankie's been gone, that he hasn't at least a couple of times flicked onto DayZ and gone, I'll give it 10 minutes, have a quick run around, see what's going on.
He has, right?
Yeah,
He has.
Yeah, he must have done so. Even when he was really jaded to a degree about the game, he must have been on at some point. So he does know whether he's consulting Sada or anyone else. He must know what state the game's in.
Yeah, but 10 minutes isn't enough to know what the game
Ben,
is like.
how long did you spend with him?
It wasn't that long, I'll be honest with you. Probably about half an hour, something like that.
Yep.
He wasn't particularly playing DayZ. We were showing him a lot of the expansion content, and then Sada was showing him how various locations had changed since he last played and stuff like that. But he wasn't actually playing DayZ. So I do know that the day before he did come on my server the night before and had a little wander around Kamishovo. I don't know how long he was there for, so I don't know if he experienced any of DayZ really. But yeah, I don't know if he's actually played any DayZ recently.
Maybe he ran into some of the issues with expansion and thought, like, fuck this.
Could just be the feel of the game too. I mean, he just, might leave a sour taste in his mouth because he doesn't like how the game plays out or whatever. Because it does. That's one of the things. Like DayZ's UI hasn't really changed much, so they haven't really like refreshed or brought us like anything new in I guess a while. I'm not sure what the time frame on that is. And maybe the first time he played it, he didn't like it, so he hasn't seen anything different, so he doesn't continue with it. He doesn't find the value in it.
Okay. Did say
which is fair, which is totally fair. I mean, the guy's got. If you're doing content creation like he is, you're very much looking for like, hey, am I going to be able to make my vision with this? And that's probably why he doesn't take sponsored stuff, because he can't really push his vision with the sponsored stuff. He's a very, I guess I don't really know him, but he's probably a very idea-based guy where he has an idea and he wants to execute that. So that's what he focuses on,
And I think
yeah,
Camino
Sada
probably
was saying. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, you go, mate.
I was just going to say, Sada was saying that after he'd been on the server, that Frankie said something along the lines of it brought back a lot of bad memories.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because that's the same what expansion did for me when I tried it the first time. It was very broken and had a lot of issues. And I'm not putting it straight on that, but especially if you in the earlier stages of expansion, you agree that there was a lot more bugs than there is right now. Mm-hmm. It could have literally been the case where he just looked at this as like, okay, this is the mod that is supposed to do it. And then he just went, nah. Like, it's still how DayZ is.
I think Camino sums it up well. His comment there as well. It can be done, but it's already done in Armour, so it doesn't make any sense to reinvent what's already been done.
That's what?
It doesn't make any sense to reinvent it when he could just go and play Armour and all the stuff he wants is pretty much already done there for him.
I don't know. It's definitely Armour is pretty old fashioned by this point. Even
I think he means
like trash. It looks like trash.
Arma 3 is pretty like ahead of the curve until you think about stuff like Arma 4 with actual proper future infusion stuff. Like,
yeah, no,
I'd say it's not. They've done okay.
That's why when you're saying is like maybe he looked at DayZ and he just didn't see some of the stuff that in game works. It's like, but then he goes back to Arma 3, which is like the most outdated, blocky, like slow in animation experience you can have. So there's clearly something that put him off in that playtest where he just went like, no, they're like this. See how buggy the game still is.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I remember when DayZ standalone first came out, like a long time ago, when the DayZ mod was still a thing, and I played the standalone for the first time. And personally, I didn't like it. I went right back to Arma 2 mod, and I probably played it for another year after standalone came out until I, eventually stopped playing Arma 2 altogether. But it might be a lot like that, where that's how he feels about it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But even
guys, I'm gonna have to dip out on this one. I have got a dinner thing in 1 hour. And I need to lather myself in sunscreen because the sun is out. So that's going to take a while. So yeah, thanks for allowing me to join, guys. It was a pleasure. Nice meeting everyone.
No worries.
Nice meeting you too, man.
Yep. And it was really good.
And we'll see you back on next week when we have another Twitter drama midweek, eh?
Scripted drama.
Scripted.
I'll be sure to block much earlier next time.
Catch you later, Minder.
See you later, mate.
Oh, we lost Inclement Dab's camera.
feeling shy.
Yes.
It's probably for the best. All you people with hair are making me look bad.
Mate, I haven't got any hair either.
Okay.
I'm sitting here sweating with my bald head, and I'm fucking sun shining. I'm surprised I've not completely flared out everybody's screens.
Yep. No, that's the wrong one. What have we got here? Server Spotlight. Now, we had a great idea posted in the Discord. Once again, I'll post the link in chat again. But someone made the idea of we come up with a server to talk about on the show. Now, I went back to him and said, you came up with the idea. Let us know what you let us know a server that you love and why. Unfortunately, they didn't get back to me, Sukan. So this was your opportunity to be in the spotlight, mate. But Inclement Dab.
Hi. I've got one.
Go for it.
All right. So the spotlight that I was going to bring up this week is actually somebody who has also helped me a little bit with the editor, but she's been using a lot of testing, and she's kind of taken advantage a little bit of the editor, and she's been actually doing like the first exporting for server stuff. And I'll actually show my screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But it's her server name. I got all the information over here. Actually, I'm drawing a blank on it right now. I feel a bit embarrassed. It's Willow Glade. That's what it is. Its server name is Willow Glade. It's a PvE server, but it focuses a lot more on like the experience that you have while in the game. So it's not necessarily about like the whole, they're not big on the whole like PvP or anything like that. But they do like a really, really good job at adding their own custom events, custom assets. It's actually really fun. I'm actually a lot of a PvP guy myself, but I hang out with them on there every once in a while because they just do such a good job at like some of the stuff that they do. Because they're hosting an event tomorrow, I think. Or maybe, no, it's today, actually. They're hosting an event this evening about, it's going to be like a big old summer bash pool party thing. It's actually really cool. But she puts a lot of time. It's Helkiana and Suviel both put a lot of time into the server, and I'm sure there's other people that I'm not missing the names, and I apologize if I did, but they put a lot of time into their custom zones, their custom areas. I think they did a really, really good job at like just nailing the atmosphere all the way. So they would definitely be my shout out for this week. I can post. I'll post some information for it in the chat as well. But these are just a couple of screenshots that they sent. They got like a custom trader system and everything like that. They've got like a lot of communication between people. It's really, really cool what they do. Actually, I think they do a really good job. She's got some custom assets as well for her server and everything like that they put together. Let me see if I can go and find that real fast.
And we can't help but love Helkiana for making Boydie damn near jump so far out of his fucking skin that we only saw skeleton for 5 minutes.
I was playing on DayZ Down Under, a hardcore server that really punishes you if you die. And I'm at the trader, and it's not a safe zone. And it was just, every now and then in DayZ you get the heebie-jeebies, you get the vibe, and I'm starting to panic, and Moonshine's talking to me in chat, and I'm like, Moonshine, just shut up. I need to listen in case someone's creeping up on me. And I've got these ninja alerts where if you donate a certain amount of bits, it just lets off these fucking horrendous gunshots.
Oh my god. I've got the same thing in my stream too, yeah. It's evil. It's evil. People use it against you as a tool. It's a weapon.
But, mate, I say that people watch me for one of two reasons. One is in the hope that Vigilante Gamer will make a comeback on my channel. And if you haven't heard of him, you need to give yourself 10 uppercuts. And the other is to watch a man have a heart attack live on stream.
Yeah.
It's the only reason I ever tune in.
This is some really nice stuff. I saw the...
Yeah, they did a really, really good job. This is Tizzy, I think.
I saw the Toxic Cloud for the first time on DayZ Down Under. It's a roving one that just moves across the map, and it's toxic at all. And wow.
I'll put a Discord invite for their thing in your chat here.
Is
That's
that
Willow Glade
custom
right there.
buildings as well? Like custom, like with the towers there and things? Because I don't think I've ever seen them anywhere else in DayZ.
I think so, yeah.
Unless I've been looking with my fucking eyes shut.
I think the Stalker server uses those, I think.
I think they have custom assets anyway, because I go to Helkiana stream all the time, and she's always making something different. She's got some, like, for her event, she's doing, like, she made some, like, custom, like, string lights that, like, hang through like a little. It's like really, really cool.
Yeah, I was watching her make a tiki bar the other day.
Yeah, the tiki bar, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's doing a really good job. Oh, this one's creepy. What the heck?
She's
I'm gonna
very
have to make this one, like,
community
desktop background.
oriented.
Oh, for sure, yeah. All of Willowglade is. They're doing a good job. Oh.
I
That's
only
creepy.
found out recently that you can make custom zombies. Like with the way they look, you can have custom sounds. So instead of their normal screamy sounds they do, you can have custom sounds that they make and things. I only found that out. I didn't realize that was ever a thing. Not in my wildest dreams did I imagine that was even possible.
Yeah, that's how we've got the alien on my server, and also I'd love to turn them all the zombies into raving rabbits one night, just for an event one night.
Oh, this is cool. These look really cool.
That's smart.
Gotta have like runners that just like
Where's the server base?
sprint and freak out at you.
Yeah, different
a good
zombie
question.
AI with different characteristics would be good. Like, so if you saw a certain type of one, you know you're in shit.
There
sort of thing.
is a mod like that, Ben. They've added it to DayZ Down Under. PVZ mod, I think it's called. And oh my fucking god, mate! What you just said happens. Now, Doing a Poo was in chat just saying about how DayZ Down Under is not as hardcore. They've added expansion mod. And he is right in that, but they've added some other things, including this PVZ mod, and oh my fucking god, mate, it is just the most insane thing. It basically just completely reworks Infected. You'll be out in the middle of the forest and you'll hear a zombie aggro, and you'll turn around and you can't see this zombie anywhere, and then you see this bush move, and it's a fucking zombie that's already had its legs taken out, so it's crawling, and we all know how annoying they are, but it's in a fucking ghillie suit. So you would never have seen the fucker, and it gives you a fright. It's like, what the? And then you've got to, oh shit, what do I do? I had a bunch of them fucking attack me, and they ruined my shoes to the point that they fell off my body. And I was like, what the hell? The zombies spawn with helmets, with vests on them, and you take have to take about 6 to 7 headshots just to take out a military zombie. There's a priest zombie in it. I had a sledgehammer. I think it took 14 hits to take him down with a sledgehammer.
Jeez.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
What the?
It just...
Did you drop some ancient texts or something when you killed him, like a boss zombie?
He had a small amount of cannabis
Achievement
on him.
unlocked.
He had a small amount of cannabis on him, which kind of made me laugh. The priest had cannabis. But yeah, definitely check it out. I know a lot of servers are scaling back on the Infected, but it's an amazing mod. It really is an amazing mod. It's added, added
I
some
think
extra.
zombies in DayZ at the moment are they're almost too easy. They're not
yeah.
they're not to my taste. I think they should be either more dangerous or there be more of them, because I think we've all had that moment where we've been trapped by like a group of zombies. Having 1 or 2, even 3, you can generally deal with depending on the server you're on, but I think they should be a little bit more of a threat than they are at the moment.
I agree actually a lot with that, and also to add to that, I was actually experimenting it with when I was doing some of my own server dev a little bit ago. I was trying spawning like tripling the amount, but then changing it so if you shoot them in the head, they die. Because there's a lot of times where I'll shoot a zombie with an M4 and they just won't die in the head. So if you shoot them in the head, it will kill them. But making them so they hit harder, and there's a lot more of them to balance it, to sort of counterbalance that right now. Because I do agree with you. I definitely feel like it's not really that well balanced.
Other than if you make a silly mistake and get caught in a, when you're trying to herd them into a shed or something like that, there's little to no threat from them. It was so refreshing playing on DayZ Down Under. And there was a server a while back, After Dark, that did it quite well, but it fell apart, sadly. And this is the first time that I died at the Northwest Airfield. Infected, there was too many of them got on me, and my health was too low. And it was my own fault. I should have taken time to let my health regenerate, but that would have been, just too much time spent sitting around. So I said, fuck it, I'll just go in. I kind of wanted to explore to see what the Northwest Airfield was like, and it was... wow. It blew my mind just how hard it was to deal with them. I imagine it's kind of like a meta. I'll learn what the new meta is for them, and then it will be easy again. But it was nice to be challenged. And little things like what you just showed, what Helkiana's done on the Willow Glade, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Server, I love that. I love seeing a freaky thing. You know, like I said, I talk about this little crawling zombie that was in a ghillie suit that I just couldn't see. And I was like, where the fuck did you come from? But to see these clown zombies and things like that, I jump scare bad. I do. You know,
Funny enough, we've noticed.
Yeah, we've noticed. But yeah, I think that's awesome, mate. I love servers, and I'll definitely check out. Where did you say Willow Glade is based?
Helkiana said it was in EU.
EU? The joys of being an Australian. 300 plus ping.
I mean, it's not like if it was an Australian server, it's not like your internet was going to help you anyway. You're still going to get 300 ping.
You cheeky fucker.
It's funny because it's true.
It's funny because it's true. You're a funny fucker too. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. My internet's been shit tonight. This has been so embarrassing for me. We've got the lovely overlays and everything like that, and I've just been a complete and utter boomer. Okay, so have you got a link that we can post into chat for people to check out Willow Glade, mate?
Yeah, I do, actually. I posted it already, but I'll post it one more time just to emphasize. That's their Discord right there, and they've got all their server info inside of it, so if you want to join
Our
it, that's
server
the
of
way
the
to go.
week, Willow Glade, hosted by Helkiana, who is in here, who'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have, and like all good server admins, is awake 24/7 to comp you for your loss of any gear due to features of DayZ. And I think Helkiana just hit unsubscribe to my channel right now.
Refunding coming.
Oh, having second thoughts.
And Ben's just sitting there going, but that's what they expect of me. They do. They expect me to be awake 24/7.
Do really do.
It's kind of, I know we've gone for we've been going nearly 3 hours now, but server owners, server admins don't get enough credit. And someone I've been playing with on Fubar server said that they were looking at starting their own server, and all I could think of was you, Ben, DM4, Spud from DDU, Fubar Bundy even, with his server now. And Brim, you run a server, although you say you don't do much in the behind the scenes stuff, but the demands on server owners are just insane.
Yeah. I mean, I like I say, I'm just the lackey that runs around after, dealing with the player base. I'm sort of like a community manager to a degree. And luckily, we've got quite a small community at the moment. So, yeah, I couldn't imagine doing all the back end stuff of having to fuck with config files and all that. That's alien to me in a massive way. Like, I can use the community online tools and what have you to teleport myself to a player that's stuck in a car or something and help them out that way. But other than that, it's a ball ache. But yeah, you get so many people that seem to think that because they're playing on your server that they're entitled to some sort of preferential treatment in some way. And we had a group of guys playing on our, say, young lads. I think they must have been teenagers, and one of them just kept coming in the Discord at least once a day and saying, oh, the fucking car's crashed again, and oh, this has happened, and that, oh, my car's despawned with all my loot in it, and blah 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 blah. And it was like, it's literally in the rules of our Discord server where you say you agree to the rules with a reaction roll, and it says you've read the rules, you know that we're not comping for cars because cars are fucked in DayZ. Like, use them at your own risk.
Buyer beware.
Oh yeah, but their argument. I sat there and I was in a Discord call like this with the other admins of the server, and we were pissing ourselves laughing because the lad's response was, "Well, why are you still adding cars onto the server then if you know they're broken?" And our server boss, John, turned around and said, "Ian, do you want to take this one?" I was like, "I got this one, brother. Don't you worry." And I literally just typed back, "So why are you still buying a fucking car then?" And immediately, radio silence. And he didn't. I was like, "Yeah, exactly. Shut up." Like you're literally bitching and moaning about the fact a car doesn't work. And yet the guy was spending hundreds of thousands of rubles in game going and buying cars just for them to despawn or break again because he crashed them into a fucking tree.
Easy Rider just said it in chat. Cars have been fucked since 2014, for heaven's sake. If you don't know, it's buyer beware when you buy a car now in DayZ. But it does... Ben, do you comp on your server?
It depends on the situation, to be honest with you. So if it's anything to do with vehicles, generally no. For the reasons already mentioned, that they're so buggy that if people want to use them, it's completely down to their own risk. If the game suddenly, magically, which it can often do, swallow somebody's hard-earned gear that they've been collecting for 3 weeks, then yeah, I'm more inclined to, if they've got some sort of evidence, then I do comp them. But again, we have the trader mod. The trader mod will now and again not give you an item you've paid for. Also, though, a lot of the time you'll have players that will not have the inventory space for an item, and they'll buy it, and the game tries to place it in the inventory, and they don't get it. In those occasions, no. It's just a grin and bear it, basically.
That's a bug in the trader mod.
Yeah. I think it depends on. I think some of it can be to do with what clothing you're wearing. But yeah, you can often go to the trader, buy stuff, and it doesn't give it you.
Yeah, it predominantly. I've noticed if you've got something in your hands. If you've got something in your hands, usually it just anything you buy after that, it takes the money, but you don't get the item.
Yeah, there was one where it was. It would be dependent on the rucksack you were carrying. So if you had a vanilla bag on your back, everything would be fine. But if you had a modded bag from, say, the Mass Many Items mod or the Munghards Hiking mod or anything like that, then that bug would persist and it wouldn't go into your bag.
Yeah, I've seen that happen as well.
I just can't wait for DayZ's trader mod. I know we harped on about it the other week, but that trader mod, guys and girls, if you haven't seen it, if someone could find a link to some footage of it, I did a video on it on my channel. It is the most it was sort of what I was talking about before when I said to you and Clement Dab. What you've just shown me is mind blowing. What DayZ showed me with his trader mod was mind blowing to me. There's just it's.
Oh yeah,
I know player numbers
doing a really
slightly
good job
down, but it's almost like it's a bit of a golden age for DayZ at the moment, which is just some of the stuff that you guys are coming up with. It's incredible, absolutely incredible.
I think it was last week that I said to you that all the little, like in terms of modding now, all the little things have been done, and they've been done a lot. Yeah. It's all the stuff that's left to do now is the big things that are going to be mind blowing and that everybody's really going to appreciate.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I had a chance to jump onto one of DayZ's new servers and get up to Altar and check out that trader mod a bit, and it is really cool. I really, really like the way that looked, and the way he had like the custom currency looking different to what the regular trader mod has. Things like it was brilliant. But the one thing that I want to know, and I know DayZ's in chat, the one question I want is how the fuck am I getting 144 FPS on his server, but I struggle to get above 90 on any other? What have you done to your server to make it run so well? Because so many servers need to do that. Because I'm running up like big roads in big towns, running through the center of Cherno, do it over 100 FPS, and I don't get that in any other server. If I was to jump in any other server and get over 100 FPS, I think I might faint. It was absolutely phenomenal.
There's even a mod to change your grey dirty underwear into pattern once. Might be a mod too far. only if it changes it into.
So that's the golden age right there. That's the golden age.
Yeah, we need a custom underwear mod with skid marks and everything. I think at this point.
I gotta say,
just go full rust. Just remove the underwear. Just go full rust.
I actually miss the female model, the old star knickers that she used to wear. I thought they were fucking hilarious.
There were so many phenomenal things that we're now missing from the game like
Yeah.
that. Just the little things like that, the random little things like that is just makes it so much fun.
And there you go, Ben. In chat, mate. Blue Waffles is the best server. Someone flying the flag for you, mate.
That's a nice compliment. Random, but thank you very much.
To be fair, he's not far wrong. Let's be honest. Quaff is doing well.
There's a lot of good servers now. That's the good thing. I think there's been thousands and thousands open, and there's still thousands open every week by the looks of it. But the chat's been sorted now, and there's some really good servers. A lot of variety as well. So, like you were saying earlier, if somebody don't like the way a server is, they can just piss off and find another one that suits them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like you say, there's so many now, and you know, Uncle Ray Ray's got his own server now called the Boom Boom Room. I know a few people are going to have already played that, and that's just pure fucking mayhem from start to finish. There's no base building, none of that. You can't hoard items. It's literally a case of you log in, you loot up, you get into a massive thing of PvP, and when you die, you respawn somewhere between Cami and Cherno. And you just go again, and it's basically it's almost like a deathmatch server. But he's one that's got custom zombies, and it wasn't until I played on his server that I found that was a thing. He's literally got a custom Uncle Ray Ray zombie, complete with Hawaiian shirt and thinning matted over hair. And when that zombie aggro's on you, as a zombie does the old two arms up in the air, it literally goes woo baby, just like Uncle Ray Ray does, and and I played on the server for 2 days before I found that out. I just happened to bump into one, and I went, "What the fuck, Ray? Oh, wait, no, Ray Ray's not on. It's his day off." Oh shit, it was a zombie. I was like, "Fuck that!" I didn't even stop to try and fight it. I just ran. I was like, "I'm not dealing with that. That's above me."
I love little things like that, and people need to, especially if, like you were saying, Ben, if they want to start a server. A bit like what we were talking about with streaming before. Yes, you can, download OBS and chuck a webcam on and just play the game, and you might get a following. The same as you can pay the $80 to $100 or whatever it is, start a server, and you might end up with a community. But if you really want to, you need to make friends with the likes of Inclement Dab, with Dewan, with these people who can design something that sets your server apart. Gives people, Enzyme Orange, good marketing that is. Ray Ray will possibly be in everyone's streams. So just come up with something unique that sets your server apart from the rest of them that are out there. There's 101,000 servers claiming to be high loot, AI trader, 10,000, 1 million, 1 gazillion rubles starting cash and all the rest of it. But what else is going to make your server different that people want to come back and keep playing? And that's going to be the trick to running a successful, which you might end up regretting. Hey, Ben.
Some days, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot more to running a good server now than there used to be. You've got to try and be unique. You've got to come up with your own ideas. You've got to care about your community. You can't just, open a server and expect it to fill up and everybody have a good time and everything else. It does, like you were saying before, about being expected to be on 24/7. You kind of, if you're gonna, don't get me wrong, I've had a good bit of playtime this week, but when you're running a server, you've essentially got to be prepared to give up game time now, so that you can look after your community that bit better.
Yeah.
So there is a lot more to it, to having a good server now. But with the modding and everything else now, it's brought all the variety in, and we've got a lot more options now. Like you mentioned, Helkiana before, she's doing a lot of custom stuff on it, her server, that makes it really unique. I'm doing some custom stuff at the moment.
Gamer Girl Bathwater version 2.0.
We're going a bit bigger than that this time. bit bigger than that.
You'll
Game
be able
of
to find
Boy
the Game of
bath
Girl
water.
and the bath.
Yeah, but you're going to be chased by a Belle Delphine. from now on.
Yes, you heard it first here, folks. Belle Delphine zombies.
There you go. But yeah, it's good now that you can get
Has
so much
modding gone
variety.
too far? Dear God.
I'm
No,
uninstalling
never.
now.
No, never.
Oh,
I'm
let's add to it.
reinstalling now. What are you doing?
Belle Delphine. Okay, Boomer Girl. Who else could... Pokimane. You've got to have a Pokimane zombie.
Oh, God. And you got to have a bunch of tier 3 subs like chasing her down
Yes,
like all the
yes.
time, like anytime she spawns. So they're just like shouting shit.
And when she's chasing you, she's just yelling, really want to put my name on that one? Oh, God, I hate that clip. Oh. But no, love it. Last topic of the night, guys, is our guest host spotlight of the week. So you've already done yours, Inclement Dab, but that was more for the server. Is there anything else that took your interest this week that you saw that just made you go, wow? Whether it be a video, a mod, anything?
I mean, tons, honestly, because I've been watching through the modding Discord, and there's like a whole bunch of like really, really cool stuff going on. I don't necessarily have anybody specific to shout out besides, the guys at Expansion and VPP who are just pushing the envelope right now so well, and they're doing such a good job with it. But I mean, there's all kinds of just creative stuff inside the modding Discord if you guys, and you guys should definitely be in there watching that, because I saw somebody's working on a mod for AI, where they were spawning spawning actual characters in with guns, and the guys were shooting back at each other, and it was really cool. And stuff like that. There's all kinds of just cool stuff out there. So
Wow.
yeah.
Okay, that's all my.
I thought that was really cool.
Like the idea of AI. I'm not 100% sold on it, but then again, I said the same about choppers, and I got to fly in choppers, and I fucking love flying in choppers now. It's hilarious. It's good fun.
Especially
but
when
yeah.
the nose
Especially
dives
when
into
you-
the ground.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the best part, honestly. That's the climax right there.
Ben, what about you, buddy?
I'm going to be horrible here. I'm a little unprepared for this one this week. I've been a little bit busy, and also when I have had spare time to watch Twitch streams or content, I've either been watching Inclement do his editor, or I was watching Helkiana as well the other day, and oh, excuse me. And then also, I've been watching Archie videos for the last week.
Oh, you've been binging them.
Yeah, I've been binging a bit. The guys entertained me for the last
How
week.
funny
It's been
is
very
some
funny.
of the... I've literally spat out a mouthful of drink with some of the cheeky little one-liners he sneaks into his guide videos. Oh,
Well, for me, it's just been. He seems he's a master at swapping his voice and changing his accent. It's like and the way he gets people to kill themselves, that's had
Yes.
me laughing out loud several times this week. Like I've probably spat my beer out a few times when I've seen a few of his videos. Like, yeah, he has entertained me a lot. The genius of the man.
he's got to be careful though. He's getting to the point now where he's probably a small mid-size channel or streamer, and he's going to start getting to the point where if he doesn't expand his repertoire of accents and that, people are going to recognize him, and he's going to get a name for you're that guy who likes to troll people.
Well, if anybody could change their accent, he can, because I've heard him do Russian, French, Australian, everything he's done in like the space of 5 minutes. So
No, he doesn't
I
do
don't think he'll
Australian. He
struggle.
does an abomination of Australian.
I accept that.
Oh, God. But no, love the guy. And definitely check him out when. Brim.
That'd be me. Yeah, the only one, the main one, apart from the obvious, elephants in the room that we're currently with, and the work they've been doing recently, it is Uncle Ray Ray. The guy's been streaming a fair decent amount recently, and obviously with the opening of his new server, which is pretty unique to say the least. It's just getting to see someone do something different rather than being what so many streamers are, just sit in front of a webcam, chat a load of shit and hope for the best. He actually does make it very entertaining. And like I say, his server's so unique. I mean, he's got 2 custom military locations. One's between Kamishovo and Electro, which from an aerial view looks like a pair of breasts. So we call it the titty base. And then he's got another one between Cherno and Electro, that if you look at it from above, is a giant cock and balls, which we call the cock base. And they're custom military zones, and it's literally, it's a high loot server. Like, you can go into almost any building and find a weapon, and that's the way it's designed to be. It is designed to be just pure fucking mayhem, just run and gun, hope for the best, respawn and go again. And it's got to be some of the most fun. Like, I've had a bit of a shitty time the last sort of week or so, like mental health and things like that. And then he messaged me saying that he was putting the server live, and would I like to come and have a look? So I jumped in, and immediately I just had one of the best nights of my life, just running around, just acting like an absolute fucking idiot, and just doing whatever I wanted. And it was genuinely a lot of fun. So I think he deserves a lot of respect for the extra work he's putting in with that one.
Fluky Steak in chat has just said, can I just give a shout out to JLK? Amazing content. Totally agree. JLK has really reinvented himself and is still absolutely killing it. And I couldn't be happier for the young guy. Milo, if you're watching, I saw you liked my tweet the other week. We're still waiting. We're still waiting for you to dust it off and put out another video and get the little spoon or whatever it is and say, I'm blocking the haters, because there'll be people who hate on you, mate, but just get out there and make another video. You did good videos, mate. I want to shout out the ESCA team from Jacob. From what I've seen of it, I've got to say it looks amazing. Totally agree. What we saw before, what I got to see in Anarchy's video, it just looks fucking next level. Really, for those who love their immersion, Essica looks like it's going to be a map that particularly some of the roleplay communities I think will really get a kick out of. But yeah, that just looks absolutely fucking amazing to me.
I want to try out the base building in that map. I get the strange feeling that like different places to do like base building and stuff. I love a bit of base building, whether it be vanilla or expansion. I think you could make some very, very unique and interesting bases on that map.
One of the things I loved was all the flooded areas. You know, if you like the cop station, having to go through the cop station and search for loot, knowing you're getting wet. Fuck the rain. You're going to be walking through a puddle. You're going to be fucking sopping wet. And if it's cold and nighttime, it just adds a whole new dynamic. Easy Rider, we have shouted out Happy Bombs many a time, but I will do it again, mate. Happy Bombs, True Colours events. He is another one of those like M1ndr and that who puts in more than he gets from DayZ, which is to be respected. His True Colours events. Ben and I have done events in the past, and we know how hard it can be. Yes, it's easier these days, isn't it, Ben? These fucking young kids don't know how easy they've got it, do they, mate?
No. Life used to be a bit more of a headache.
But yeah. My shout out for the week is a bit self-indulgent, but I want to shout out the Australian Survivalists stream team. R. Diddy sent me an invite and asked me to join the team, which I happily did. And one of the main reasons why, Ben, was guess what R. Diddy is going to be playing, and I've told him to reach out to you. He wants to help promote an Ashes series.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's talk about it then.
Yeah.
I believe I'm not. All right, so I'm not gonna. The expansion update should be kind of soon. So as soon as that's done, we'll have a nice working environment to do an event. So yeah, let's chat. I'm looking forward to it.
Diddy's in chat. He's watching. He said, "Try to keep it on the hush, mate." Laughing emoji. You didn't tell me that.
Spill the beans. Spill the beans.
But
a bit late now.
Sorry, Diddy. we've actually talked about it on the show before. Probably not quite to as many viewers as we have now, but Ben and I have talked about it before because it's something we're both very passionate about. And we actually had plans ourselves to try to. And then when you sent me the invite, it was, yeah. But back to the original point, Australian Survivalists, we've got a large pool of some of the biggest names in Australian DayZ. There's Ben Fruit, there's Lax Hawthorne, there's R. Diddy, D-Hop, and then there's little old me tacked in there somehow. But yeah, it was an honour to be invited to join the team. And from what I can see, they're working very actively to promote DayZ in the Australian community. So I'm really excited to be a part of it and see what we can do.
I would love to see another Ashes series.
Oh, mate.
I wasn't around for it the first time around, but I did end up going back and watching bits and bobs of it and how good it was back then. And I think we've said it before, like obviously with the ball ache it was for everybody to try and, you know, get loot and keep loot. Now it's so much easier with the way admin tools are now. And like with the way everything in DayZ is now, it can be just a whole nother level at this point.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to these events.
I really look forward to seeing what we can do with it. And that little link I just posted didn't work for the Discord. Discord is being funny for me. But yeah, it'll be absolutely amazing. And like you said, you know, the tools that are at our disposal now, you know, with stuff like what the one has, where you could have little hit bars that show, you know, how much health you have remaining, and just so many little things to make it easier for the casters to be able to commentate. You know, it could be amazing. It could be mind blowing.
Yeah, we could 100% now with what's available completely raise the bar for. In terms of it, like the experience in the event itself and for production quality of streaming it, and even as we spoke about last week, interaction with the chat as well, being, you know, involved with, you know, potentially helping or hindering people that are taking part and stuff like that. Is just, yeah, we'll be able to raise the bar with the event, and we had a lot of success with the original Ashes series, and it was a lot of fun to do. So yeah. I can't imagine how good we could do something now. It'd be a next level.
And this time the Aussies.
Yeah, while you mentioned, I was gonna say while you mentioned that, I'm gonna post the editor Discord to the chat as well.
Yeah, definitely,
mate. Case.
Definitely.
That way, if anybody wants to join in, make suggestions about that. All discussion is hosted there, and you can ask me anything you want. If you got brilliant ideas, I'd love to hear them. Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Enzyme, you just said you enjoyed the DayZ Council. I like that. Maybe that's I'll have to add that to
that's a good name for the podcast. I don't
know. We're actually asking people to suggest names in the Discord. Because at the moment, it initially started as the Boomer Zone podcast, but Boomers is a bit of an off-putting word for a lot of people. So we just started calling it the DayZ Podcast, but we really want to be able to give it its own name. And the DayZ Council, that's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek one. But I think at the moment, the one that is winning is Chatting in Churnerus. Campfire Stories is doing well. And what we're going to do is basically, once we've got a few different names that are more popular, we'll put it out to a more official poll where whatever is the winner will be the name of it. So feel free to fucking troll us if you want. But yeah, we do this every week at the same time. I post up in chat. But usually it's about 3 hours from now ago is when it starts. Midnight Australian Eastern Standard Time.
3 p.m. UK time.
10 a.m. Eastern time.
And Ben, you're the same.
Some various times in other places that we don't really
irrelevant time zones.
Yeah.
So yeah, jump in the Discord. We want ideas from you people, whether it be 3 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. You're a wanker, Jacob. No, it's not. It's fucking midnight. It's 3 a.m. now, almost, but yeah. And this is the sort of vibe we have, guys. We try not to be too serious unless the topic warrants it. The chat is just people having fun, talking DayZ. You can talk shit on DayZ if you want. We might not agree with you, but you can talk it. You know, we're a pretty lax sort of thing. We invite other people in. We don't care if they stream it themselves. This isn't just, you know, us trying to get people into the one channel. Brim's meant to be streaming it on his channel, but he's too lazy to.
Pretty accurate after. To be fair, I have the last 2 or 3 weeks I have streamed it.
Yeah.
But today I cannot be fucked. I've got too much shit to do. Too much effort to keep up with that as well.
Yeah. But no,
I've not got my webcam on, so I'm sat here melting in the heat, and it's not a pretty picture.
Yeah, same
and
here,
let me
mate.
guess, you're sitting there in your underwear.
Sat here, mate, me undies. You've got it. Sticking to
And your
my
nicely
shirt.
striped underwear with the
They're
tread marks on the back.
They're not striped. They're just completely pink, just flat pink.
Well, you need to turn your
Were
webcam
they
on.
red
Might
when you
get
got
some
'em?
more viewers.
Gotta plug your OnlyFans. All right, guys. I gotta get going. I gotta get my stream started because I am mega late for me. So
No
I
worries,
appreciate
mate.
you guys having me, though.
Get your
Thank you,
stream
guys.
started, and we'll send everyone over to you so they can check out you in action, doing some of your editing of your map editing mod, which we talked about earlier, in case you missed it.
All right. Pleasure, guys. Thank you so much.
All the best,
Have a
mate.
wonderful day.
Take it
Catch
easy,
you later,
mate.
Brim. Bye, Ben.
Right, take it easy.
See you later, guys.